This is really nice. I love the chill vibe of this. Wow, look at that art style. Holy shit. I have never seen anything that looks like this before. Oh shit, it showed him. He's got to be in this season. I cannot wait. Oh, this is such a cute opening. Clover works. And looking up once again to the moon. When are we going to go to the moon? They went so damn hard for a big anime opening for sure. For one episode, 14 minutes of an episode. That was Vaundy? There's no way. How did I miss that? I was just talking about the guy like 5 seconds ago with the previous opening. Holy shit. Jesus, this is nightmare fuel. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another opening video. Today we'll be checking out 2025 summer openings. This will be all a mystery to me. I only know a few different series that are actually airing right now. I have seen seasons 1 for all 3 of those, you know, those being DanDaDan, Sakamoto Days, and Kaiju number 8. I have reactions to the first 2 of those on the channel, and Kaiju number 8 I watched in my own time before even doing this whole YouTube thing. So we're going to be checking these out. I don't know how many we're going to be checking out. Somewhere in the realm, usually between 10 to 13, I think. And Pinecino has curated them, so be sure to thank him in the comments down below. And yeah, this is going to be a wild one because, like I said, I don't really know what's coming. Normally, I go into these with a kind of general idea of like, okay, here's 7 or 8 series that are airing. I can name maybe a few others, but even then I'm not really sure. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe and comment down below, letting me know your favorite opening from this season. Yeah, I'm hoping we get some good surprises in here. Maybe something that we haven't seen in a while perhaps. Maybe something I hadn't even thought about. And if you enjoy these videos, you can hit the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when these videos go live. Why don't we just get right into this? We are going to check out 2025 summer openings. Let's go. What are we going to start with today? This looks like one of those old kind of like mats, you know, like with the cars and stuff, like the art style. This is really nice. I love the style. It's actually so stunning. Oh, is this the Nichijou follow-up series? Well, not a follow-up, but a spiritual successor, I guess. I just saw the shape of the character's face. Oh, this is so nice. Sadie the animation, that's the name of it. This is really nice. I love the chill vibe of this. This is stunning. Even just the bubbles. Or water droplets. Look at those shadows. This is so cute. Sing along in the birds yapping. I love the way they did the blur for the lamppost. Oh, look at the character designs too. That's so cute. And then the way that the background characters are drawn very flat, I love it. It really makes the characters in the forefront stand out a lot more. City the animation, that was amazing. That's going to be a hard one to top, and that was the very first of the day. This just like spoke to me or something. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just it's the kind of chill vibe that you just really long for. Like, if anything, this kind of reminds me more of like an ending with like the chillness of it. Like, to make a comparison, it's not a great comparison, like to compare it to an anime ending maybe, like comedy from season 1 of Spy Family, like that kind of downbeat chill vibe. But this one had a much nicer kind of like vibe to it. Like, it had a positive vibe as well as that kind of chill vibe. So yeah, this was just an absolute treat. Like, this is honestly incredible. This is City the Animation, produced by the legendary Kyoto Animation, of course, and directed by Taichi Ishidate. Violet Evergarden. Character designs and art direction are handled by relative rookies Tamomi Tokuyama and Shiori Yamazaki. Just mind-blowing in your opinion, absolutely. If they're anything like they were in this opening, like I know sometimes an opening ending will switch up the style, and it won't look exactly like you see in these openings and endings. But if it does look how this looks, holy shit, those designs, how I would imagine they'd look in the manga anyway, are translated so well. Like, this looks so Nichijou, but so different at the same time. I think it's the flatness of the colors in the opening here, where, you know, you've got a lot of flat solid colors. There's not as much, you know, blending or contrast. Well, there's a lot of contrast. Look at this shot alone, actually, with the different greens, but also those thick ass outlines. I love a good thick ass outline. It really does remind me of like one of those mats that I was talking about. I'll maybe throw up a video if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're on stream, I apologize, you'll just have to try and use your imagination. But one of those play mats that, you know, are in a lot of play schools, nursery schools in general, like for younger children, but, you know, also some people will have them at home, that have kind of like a whole city layout and cars and stuff on them. And now that I'm saying that out loud, it almost makes me think that that's intentional, because I just said city layout and this is city, the animation. So if that is the case, that's such a cool concept, you know, to take like the idea of that mat and kind of make a series about it. To say this opening healed your soul when you first watched it was an understatement. I absolutely understand that. I don't know if I've seen anything just quite like this that encapsulates the feel good of an opening so well. Like, I'm sure there's others that, you know, I've seen that I've thought the exact same way, but this right now, like, it's hard to think of anything else that's kind of reached that level of just pure joy and pure happiness. Like, as Starry has said here, it does feel like a gospel or choir sounding ish, you know, like with the chorus and stuff, when there's the really nice melody and there's harmony, isn't there? Right, let me just, yeah, like there's like a harmonizing second layer of her voice coming through here. You gotta tell me who this artist is, because I gotta add this song to my my Spotify playlist. We'll be listening to this one before the very next stream for sure. The series looks exactly like this opening. I know that this is Kyoto Animation, so this isn't fair for me to say, but I find that hard to believe simply because of how great this looks. And that's not me shitting on, like, saying, oh, I don't believe you or anything like that. I completely believe you, but it's so hard to fathom that a series could look like this. Like, this is such a unique, fun style that is normally kind of just employed in endings more than anything, like anime endings. Like, you'll see some openings like this too, but for the most part it's kind of like a stylistic ending choice. I just feel really bad because I can't think of anything off the top of my head that it's reminding me of, but there are series out there that have, you know, art styles in this kind of realm, I guess, for their endings and stuff. And like, I just don't have the words for how great this looks. Like, this is what I was talking about earlier. They're creating a blur effect really interestingly for this lamppost right here. I love the creativity and the choice that they've made here, because they could have just had this lamppost like literally blurred, or just not even blurred at all. It's just kind of there. But the fact that they've done that, it doesn't draw away your eyes. It kind of does give it an artistic blurry effect. Oh wait, you did say the song? I guess I stopped. Yeah, I stopped at just mind-blowing. Forgive me. And it is based on the manga by Keiichi Arawi of Nichijou fame, of course, and the song is Hello by Riho Furui. Yeah, this is an incredible song, an incredible looking series, and I just hope that for fans of Nichijou who have been, you know, kind of waiting for the next Nichijou, that this is exactly what they wanted and exactly what they needed, because this does look absolutely phenomenal in terms of appearance. And even like this kind of effect right here, like something about it, it's reminding me of like an older school kind of, like, it's not exact, but like an almost Dezaki kind of postcard kind of effect or whatever it's called, where, you know, you get the freeze frame with like a really drawn, painted kind of look, with the characters kind of looking a little different, but just in a really artistic sense. Like, it's really making me think of that, and I absolutely adore it. I think that frames like these normally go unnoticed by me, like, you know, just screenshots kind of in these openings, but just the way that they've been presented here, I think they really stand out, and I really love it. Likely the only reactor that'll say that. Well, that's only because you introduced me to the glorious world of Daizaki all those months ago. Ordinary, down on her luck, Nagumo lives in a seemingly ordinary city filled with some not so ordinary people. See, you say that and I'm immediately thinking of Morio from JoJo Part 4. She's in debt, her landlady's always trying to shake her down for rent, and even her best friend justifiably refuses to loan after many letdowns. In her expedition for the get-rich-quick scheme, Nagumo's life regularly intersects with the city's many quirky residents on their own personal journeys. Let me just spit here for a while because I don't know how to put this into like a coherent thought, but when I was checking out the Nichijou openings, it kind of didn't seem like there was any overarching kind of story per se. There might have been, and there might have been something that kind of drove every episode along, but I think it's cool that, you know, there is a very common thing here where it's, you know, it's this girl Nagumo who is down on her luck trying to make money. I think that will create some really funny and interesting scenarios, especially when there are so many interesting characters in this world, in this city, that I'm sure cause all sorts of mayhem for her, and she's always up to no good. She's always running into new people that create all these really just hilarious scenarios, and I just think it's funny that there's maybe a common thread across every episode that links them all here. They are using 3D backgrounds really well. Really? I didn't really catch that in the opening. If this is 3D, that's damn impressive. I honestly couldn't tell. If actually this might be 3D, but it's done in such an artistic way that you really can't tell. And if that is the case, like, holy shit. I've been praising... I think the animation studio I've praised the most for their 3D is probably, like, was it like Toei or something? Like, I can't remember. It's been a while. I've also praised Sunrise a lot for the Gundam 3D, but Kyoto Animation. I know that they have long since been hailed as like one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm not sure I've even really seen many Kyoto Animation openings on this channel. Maybe there probably are like a handful, but this is something else, honestly. Episode 5 of the show is one of the most insane, creatively mind-blowing episodes you've ever seen. Wow. Nichijou is about the only Kyoto Animation series I have seen so far. Really? That's actually very surprising because I know you're a huge Kyoto Animation fan, so that's got me wondering if maybe there's going to be a whole Kyoto Animation playlist in the future, and if that is the case, I am super excited for that. As much as your synopsis focuses on Nagumo, blue hoodie, brown hair, the city really is the MC, which is why the opening doesn't focus on any one specifically. That's such a fun concept. I love that because the opening literally begins with an over-the-top view of this city, and as that continues, you know, we get to see, I don't know what these are about, these cartoon characters that pop up. This little Stay Puft marshmallow guy in the bottom as well, who pops up throughout the opening. They're kind of like the only characters you see for a decent bit because it's focusing on all these little nothings. Like, I don't know, I'm sure that all of these items and things that it's showing are very like, oh, there's that thing from episode number 4. There's that from the first episode. Oh, this is where they do this in episode 7. You know, that sort of thing. Like, I'm sure maybe this swing is a central kind of thing within a certain point. I know that there's no way they would show this book for no reason. A bench, of course, and then like this looks like a doll. Everything about this opening, it looks like it's taking very specific moments or items or things that play like not even a part in the happenings of the series. Like Pinecino said, he's saying here that the city itself is almost like the main character of the series. But all these things that it's showing, they don't speak, they don't move, they just act as items within this city. And I guess that's why it spends so long focusing on all these random different things, because it does really take a while to meet a character, like to see a character. And I guess this is Nagamo, right? Is it? Blue dress, brown hair? Oh no, wait, no, this isn't you said blue hoodie. Well, anyway, okay, this would be her here on the bottom right. It's just making me think of, like, you know, back when I was a child and I was just out going places I was told, you know, to stay away from by my parents with my friends and stuff. Like, just going on all these little, like, experiences, these little adventures. Like, that's what this opening is making me think of, and it's such a beautiful thing. And I hope that you guys are enjoying this, because this does look very special. Even the logo itself is just making me happy. Like, I can't explain it. For a studio that still draws most things on paper, they are good with it for sure. Yeah, you have a lot still in the holster for later sets. Gotcha. I wonder when we're gonna eventually do the Hibike openings, or, you know, anything like that. Shots like these, I don't know why, they make me think of, like, Ishitani, a director who, you know, has directed some incredible looking stuff in One Piece. I can't explain it. I just feel like we see, like, this kind of, like, coloration and detail in simple things like bubbles or water droplets a lot with her direction. So yeah, it's just making me so happy. I can't explain it. It's just really filling me full of, like, joy. And I don't know. This just looks like something from a children's pop-out book, or, like, just book in general, with, like, you know, the beautiful illustration that they always provide for those. The birds looking goofy as hell reminds me a lot of, I guess, the bird from Nichijou, but very different looking at the same time. The one from Nichijou looked very, like, blocky, and these ones just look like silly little birds. Maybe they're ducks, who knows. And of course, every great opening has a dance moment, you know, a little dance scene in there. So of course this one joins the pantheon of great little openings that have dancing in them, simply from the end of this. And yeah, I couldn't be happier checking this one out. This one was such a great, beautiful one. It made me so happy. The art is so beautiful. The artist singer did the song for this opening. What a great job. I cannot wait to listen to this song again later on my own. And I'm just so glad that this is how we started this off. This is a really great beginning to this, I'm sure, stacked list. So I think I'm ready to move on now. City the animation, wow. Yeah, just wow. I don't have many more words than that. This is going to be a hard one to top. I'll say that. So let's move on and see what we get in opening number 2. Here we go. All right, so let's see what we get in the second opening for this list. Here we go. Is this City again almost? I don't know. It just looks very stylistic once again. Okay, it's not Takopi's original scene. Wow, look at that art style. Holy shit. Wow. I have never seen anything that looks like this before. Very high detailed backgrounds with, like, the character models looking very... Wow. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm so glad it did kick up. Aww. Is she being bullied? Wow, it's bringing them together. Aw, look at that smile. A little piggy promise that they're making to each other. Everyone's smiling at the end. That's what you love to see. I wonder if the little octopus is Takopi. This looked like a very unexpected opening. I had no idea what to expect from the opening of this. Like, something about this, it's reminding me of like a Newgrounds kind of you know, Flash game or something. Like the way this is designed, and the coloring and just the way it looks. Like it's making me think of like a really, you know what I mean, like a really old Flash game. So I didn't know what to expect from this whatsoever, especially the way this began, the way it started with the way this was designed and the way the colors looked and everything. I was like, there's no way this is already another city opening, but it isn't. Of course, this is Takopi's original sin, and it is stunning. I wonder if there's a lot to learn from this. It kind of made me feel a lot of uncertainties. Like, is this little octopus thing an alien? Must be. It was on a spaceship, it was on a rocket, flying past Earth, it seemed, but it was shot down. It was shot down out of the sky. Wait, Earth was destroyed. Hold on, I'm so confused. Yeah, I'm gonna read the little synopsis and then I'm gonna try and figure out, or maybe I should try and figure out before I read the synopsis. So my guess is that I'm gonna call this thing Takopi because I don't know what else to call it. But it looks like it destroys either planet Earth or an Earth-like planet. Or not necessarily that it destroys it, but it takes the fall for it. But then it looks like the volcano does that, so I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, we're going to skip past that, because then the main meat of this opening focuses on this girl. This girl who is very skinny, might I just say, who just looks very down, very sad, and very almost like depressed, I would say, I guess, where she only smiles during certain moments, and one of those moments being when she comes home and her dog is obviously, like, animals are sometimes the best thing for the soul. They will make any shitty day alright, you know, like sometimes all you need is just come home after a long day of just dealing with whatever you've been dealing with and just cuddle up with a cat, a dog, whatever it happens to be, and it just almost feels like all your troubles, all your worries have just disappeared. And that's kind of what this is making me think of, because the way this started when we first saw her, I didn't think anything otherwise. I just thought, oh, that's so cute, you know, she's coming home getting a nice big hug from her dog, and I never thought anything of it. But then the rest of the opening kind of presents her in a very emotional state, like she's very sad and she looks like she gets picked on a lot. I wonder if there's a reason for that. I wonder if it kind of focuses on that, or maybe it's just because she's kind of like, you know, a typical outsider, you know, you could say a loner, someone who doesn't have great social skills. And that's very common, you know, like it's not like that's a very uncommon thing. So if that's the case and it's just presenting her in that light, I think it's great, because it's something a lot of people experience. It's something a lot of people go through. I will read the synopsis very soon. I'm just trying to see if I can figure out before then. And yeah, like she sees someone walk past. I don't know if it's her mother or a sister, but if it's her mother, you know, she's looking at her phone, not even looking at the child. And this poor little girl looks so sad as she walks past, and she can only keep cuddling her dog. So it really does make me think that she's almost like neglected. She's not given the nurturing that she needs, that she craves. But then we also get to see this girl, and this girl is almost like the complete opposite, where she does have that relationship with a parent. You know, she is very close. They do a lot of things together, but at the same time it's almost like it's the child who sometimes just hops on her phone, doesn't really pay attention to her mother per se. I do like the stark contrast, especially with the way everything looks. This is very colorful. Even her hair color, you know, being blonde, very bright, very in your face. It kind of gives this very bubbly, colorful look to everything, whereas when it shows the other girl, everything is dull, everything is muted. Even her bag is beat up looking, and everything just looks very sad. Like it's just very gloomy compared to what we see right after. But her father is always home late, isn't really ever around, and that's kind of why we see this empty plate, or this plate with wrapping over it, and then later on we see that the father is alone. So yeah, it's kind of really interestingly telling you the way the family dynamics work in this series for each of the main characters. I'm guessing this is yet another one of the main characters. Something about the way he's posed right now is making me think of that meme of like the kid like writing really furiously. He seems to be the kind of character who is more focused on his achievements than anything else. He's not really as worried about what goes on in his family or anything, or he's not as connected to his family, I guess you could say. He's maybe more focused on his studies and trying to become something. But then this little Takopi once again shows up, full of life, full of energy, and just makes the whole thing look like a completely different series. Like anytime it shows this little guy, it makes the series look almost fantastical, I would say. Like, it just, I don't know if the clocks here kind of indicate that it can like bend time or something like that or anything, but it just makes this thing, this little octopus, look so different and so unlike literally anything else. Then it kind of almost like, first of all as well, the animation here is absolutely bonkers. Like, this looks, like I said already, this looks unlike anything I've ever seen. And part of that is from the very almost, it almost looks like a rushed look or an unfinished look, but obviously that's the look they're going for. I wonder if it's the kind of, I can't think of a reason why that would be the case, unless maybe the manga looks like this. I'm not like saying I don't like it. I love it. I love this look so much. I love how original and different this looks. I'm just not really sure how to interpret how it looks into what I'm kind of thinking the series direction might be. And yeah, she's animated so fluidly, so expressively. She looks very bratty, whereas then we see who I presume to be our main character wearing shoes that look very tattered, and she looks like she's a very poor child. Like I said, she probably gets made fun of and bullied. I wonder if, you know, she gets made fun of for like her smell, her look, just her appearance, just everything like that, for being poor and everything. But this other girl looks like she's about to try and beat her up, and it's just surprising because like the blonde girl looked to be someone that would be likable from when we saw her previously, and this is kind of like when it really focuses on showing just the sadness of this other girl's life. Like, I don't know if she did anything or said anything, but maybe it's to do with this desk right here that was written on. I don't know, but these other girls in the background just kind of, it makes it look like a kind of gang mentality where they're just kind of ganging up on this poor girl. But I'm sure there's more to it than meets the eye, or maybe there isn't. But yeah, they're brought together by this alien and they're made to make a pinky promise to one another. And I wonder what that pinky promise could be. But this shot is beautiful, might I just say. Like, this looks like such a stunning shot. Like, there's so much detail from the lack of detail, if that makes sense. The way her hair looks, giving you a great sense of how scruffy she is, maybe dirty as well, you could say. And her eyes looking like this just kind of give her a really lifeless look. And not that I'm saying that's a great thing. It's great that I can pick up on that just from looking at it, is what I would say. But it just makes me really sad and upset, and I hope that by the end of the series she's happy. We see her smile here again. First time we've seen her smile since the whole dog thing, and this other girl kind of takes on to it, and yeah, by the end of this they might be friends. I hope that that's the case. I hope that by the end of the series she has made a lot of friends. She has become accepted and someone that everyone enjoys being around, and I can't think of anything else that this series might be about. But once again, smiling with the dog, I just love it so much. I'm gonna read the synopsis now. That was my kind of guesswork about the series. I think that this little octopus thing kind of leads her life in a better direction. At least that's what I would guess. This is Takopi's original sin, produced by Anishiya. Outside of a music video for Eve, this is the studio's first major work. Really? Holy shit, we need more like new blood on the scene, because like I said again for City, if this opening looks anything like the series itself, that series, I bet that is an absolute eye candy pretty much every week. Directed and scripted by Shinya Ino, first 2 seasons of Dr. Stone. Character designs by Keita Nagahara. Debut at this role after years as an animator. Really? That's really cool. Music by Yoshiaki Fujisawa. Land of the Lustrous. So they're probably damn good at their job. I know that I'm pretty sure Land of the Lustrous is praised for its music, and based on the manga by Taizan 5. Mostly importantly produced by Kotaro Sudo. Pop Team Epic. Really? That makes some sense now, I would say. I can kind of see that now. Not exact, but you know, that kind of flat color look. I don't know if that makes sense. The song is Happy Lucky by Ano. Wow, haven't seen Ano in so long. DDDD Ranma 2024 opening, yep. Anno also did the barfing ending for Chainsaw Man, that's right. This series looks just as good as the opening too, that's kind of crazy. Is every series airing right now just like an absolute mind-melting watch, like in terms of its animation and appearance? Like, I can only imagine DanDaDan is continuing to blow everyone away with how it looks. The city animation that we just saw looked phenomenal. This looks phenomenal as well. This looks absolutely incredible. I just don't know. I can't imagine. It's just hard to imagine this many series looking this good all in one season, but I'm sure that happens all the time in every season. I'm just not as aware. Takopi lands on Earth from his homeworld happy planet his homeworld happy planet with a mission of spreading happiness. That's so cute. He meets Shizuka and finds out that bringing a smile to her face might prove to be a difficult task. Pi? 3.14? You'll say nothing else plot wise. Gotcha, I appreciate it. I'd rather know as little as possible if this is a series people would recommend. The only thing you're willing to say is that this was hands down one of the best anime of the decade, and that it wrapped up just about 2 weeks ago. Really? Holy shit, one of the best of the decade, you would say? And it wrapped up already? So that's huge praise coming from you specifically. 6 episodes long. Holy shit, maybe that's exactly what I'm looking for once I finish Fragrant. Because I was just saying before stream started that I'm, thinking about what I should do next. I only have 2 episodes of Fragrant left. Maybe, I'm not promising anything. I really don't want to make any promises. But maybe this is the kind of like short series I'm looking for. I'll have to think about it, and I'm sure I'll consult with Pinecino as to whether that's a good idea or not. But holy shit, that is crazy big praise coming from you, Pinecino. You'll also say, just a heads up, it is intense. Shit. Well, I'm watching ReZero. ReZero has had me on the edge for months. It is intense. Really, really interestingly as well, I'll pull it up. I opened the Shonen Jump app literally like an hour before I started doing this, and look what is right there. It's kind of a huge glare, but that right there is Takopi's original sin. I guess it was just added, unless there are new chapters. Like, I don't know if it's a finished series or not. I would imagine it is if it's wrapped up in 6 episodes. But it's now available on web to read, and the fact that it's web only kind of does indicate that things can be pretty rough in there. Like, the only other web series I can think of, a series that is only available to read on the web, is Fire Punch, and Fire Punch deals with a lot of really heavy topics, so that's exactly probably why it's only web only. The fact that this is maybe the second only web only series I can think of kind of speaks a lot to the content probably for this. This was a big viral hit in Japan back in 2022. I hope that now that the anime has released, it's become a viral hit worldwide. You feel like it was on there for a while, just the anime made Viz push it on the homepage. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, because it doesn't say new or recently added or anything, it just says web only, but it's right at the front and center. It's literally the first thing you see when you open the SJ app right now. At the time of recording this, I don't know when this video will be posted on YouTube, but at the time of recording this, it's right there front and center, right next to the Martial King, of course. It was a Jump Plus series. Okay. So right alongside DanDaDan, Kaiju number 8, even part 2 of Chainsaw Man. That's cool. I feel like I can't speak on it because I'm not entirely familiar with the comings and goings and the ins and outs and everything, but from what I understand, Jump Plus is kind of more of like a mature series, or rather where some of the more mature series will go, or some of the series that kind of want to dabble in more risky kind of like content, like stuff that they couldn't get away with on the SJ app, the SJ proper. I think it's so interesting that this was Anno though, because I didn't pick up on it being like the kind of voice I was used to or something that I'd heard before. I guess that's maybe because it's been a little bit since we saw that DDDDDD opening, and also then the Ranma 2024. I remember that being really great vibes, I guess. Her name was even on screen for a good bit. Damn, I was too busy watching the visuals. Let me see if I can find it. Ah, there it is. Ano right there. Taku Inoue Toys Factory. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure I really have a whole lot to say about this other than hearing the praise for this. It's certainly on my radar now, especially with an opening this great. I imagine this is the only opening for the series with only, you know, six episodes for it, but it makes me curious now. Like, I know that we're going to be doing an ending list sometime in the near future as well for summer 2025, and even if it's not included on there, I'm very curious what the ending would look like for the series. Like, does it take a more, like, a very harsh emotional kind of core kind of focus in the ending? Like, because this one does show quite a bit of the sadness in the world, but Takopi bringing happiness, of course, brings a lot of joy and a lot of happiness and so much greatness to this opening. Like, just the silliness of the start with like the different animation style almost, and then seeing it show up here and bring these two together. I do think that it would be a really fun, interesting series simply to kind of see where the direction goes. Like, it does make me sad that my thoughts are that this poor child is neglected at home and then bullied at school and everything like that. But if the series does take a positive approach and kind of lead things into a way that there are kind of like happy outcomes by the end, I'm sure that it would make for a really nice ending. But yeah, I just don't know if it would do that, because I just don't know. I would hope so though, because it would make me very happy by the end of the series. But yeah, I think we're ready now to check out opening number 3. What a great opening this was, visually, song wise as well. Absolutely incredible. I'm just so blown away so far by everything we have seen here. But let's check out the next one, opening number 3. Here we go. Let's see what we get in opening number 3. Let's go. Big steps. Flashlight, of course. Could this be? Is that DanDaDan? Holy shit. I thought it looked like Hikaru at the beginning. We're running down. Yep, Turbo Granny. Oh, the way he sees her through the glasses. That's adorable. She's the only color in his world. DanDaDan, in case you didn't know what that meant. Look at that. Damn, it's got like... Oh, that's so cool. Oh shit, it showed him. He's got to be in this season. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see it. I love the focus on Hikaru in this opening though. And the gang's all showing up, of course. Wow, the sun turned into a golden ball, of course. Oh, look at them. Oh, the performers. Wow. Holy shit. Saiyan Saru, of course. This looks just as fun as the first opening. I love the rays of light, the streaks, you know, with her her spiritual power, and then his Turbo Granny, of course. Oh, it's over already. I'm gonna have to listen to that full song, because it feels like the sort of song that just ended on such a there's more to come kind of note. Let me see. I gotta find him. I gotta find my guy. There he is. Okay. I gotta know. Like, the thing I'm most interested in is seeing anime only's perception, like what they think of Kenta, because he's a bit like, from what I've seen online, the manga community, he can be quite polarizing. He's one of my personal favorites. I think he's just like such a goofy dumbass, and I love seeing him. So I'm so interested in seeing what people think of him. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm saying literally nothing more. I've already said his name. He probably hasn't even been introduced yet, but I can't wait. He's, of course, doing the exact pose that he does on, I think, one of the manga covers, or maybe it's just, I think it is a manga cover that he does this exact pose for. He's such a fun character, in my opinion. This is DanDaDan Season 2, produced by Science Saru, directed by Fuga Yamashiro Season 1, and Abel Gongora. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Holy shit, that's a series that I remember you're very fond of, Pinecino. I guess probably also did work for season 1, but we never did a synopsis like this because I watched it by myself. So I never got a synopsis like this about the studio and the production of the anime opening and everything like that in the anime series, with pretty much every other staff role being the same from season 1. Love to see it because season 1 looked incredible, was incredible, and I'm sure season 2 is just picking up that torch and running with it. Picking up that torch, of course, you know, what does Hikaru start with in this opening? Which is the case because this is one of those cases where a 24-ish episode series is split in half and called 2 seasons. Your money is on it being a Saturday decision. The song is On the Way by AiNA The End. That's AiNA The End. Don't tell me, but did they do like a Dr. Stone opening ending? There's something else in my mind. I've seen that name before. Yeah, I'm not sure. That final sequence feels so Yuasa inspired, like straight out of Mind Game. Really, like the running through the corridor, the tunnel. Anytime I'm gonna see characters running in a DanDaDan opening, it's gonna remind me of a Devilman Crybaby, of course. The Exorcists, of course, are very memorable in the manga. AiNA is former vocalist of Bish of Heavenly Delusion. The opening. Really, is Bish not doing stuff anymore? And Black Clover opening 2, of course. I really do feel like I've heard that name before, but that's really cool. You'll see more of them in the future. Gotcha. I'm excited for it because the name sounds very familiar. We're gonna go back and immediately, like, yeah, the first shot, I was like, it happened so fast, but I did have in my head, okay, this is DanDaDan. That's Hikaru right there. But I guess just for the sake of not embarrassing myself, I didn't immediately scream out DanDaDan until I got a little more. That Heavenly Delusion opening, I listened to it today while I was working out. Funny enough, it's just such a intense song, kind of the exact kind of song you want to listen to. Immediately kicks things off. The world is dark, the world is grey, as Hikaru is running through the tunnel. Of course, this tunnel is a very central location in DanDaDan, and especially in the early sections of DanDaDan, where obviously the first episode, first chapter, this is where he goes. This is where he comes across Turbo Granny. I don't need to explain the plot of DanDaDan to any of you, especially not season 1 when it's already happened, but yeah, I think it's really cool going back to the tunnel. I wasn't expecting to go back to the tunnel, but then we immediately get shots like this, where right before this, the world was in grey, the world was dark, the world had no color in it apart from black and grey. But then we get to see Momo, and Momo, you can try and tell me, I know there's people out there, Pinecino, who will try and tell me that this is not a romance series, but DanDaDan is a romance series, and there's so many moments, like even just simply the opening here where he's looking at her and he's seeing her in color. Like, I'm not saying romance is the main genre of this series at all. That's obviously not the case. Seeing the world in color here through his glasses as he looks at Momo just goes to tell you exactly what he thinks about her. And there's like a bunch of shots from season 1 here. You know, the shot of, I'm guessing the first shot we saw was the first time he really looked at her in maybe a different way. Like, I'm sure he knew who she was prior to the first episode when she sits in front of him and pulls, like, you know, her kind of iconic pose in that face that she pulls as she's looking at the guys who are bullying him. I'm guessing that's what that was showing from his perspective. Here we're seeing his perspective as she says, you know, goodbye and I can't wait to talk to you and see you again tomorrow. And then all these like shots of him running away and continuing to see all these moments of the two of them. Like, it's beautiful. It's so touching to see the way he thinks about her. And then this scene right here, I don't know if this is one of two things. And this is either in the train, but I don't think it is, when they were going to the location of season 2. I'm pretty sure we're past exactly all the spoilers, but I'm not going to say anything anyway, just in case anyone hasn't caught up to season 2 yet. I'm not going to be the one here to jump in and spoil things, but what I think this probably is scene wise is one of the most memorable scenes for me anyway of the whole series. And it's of course, a car scene that happens after the first arc in season 2. I believe it has already aired, this scene, simply because I think Pinecino kind of was posting about it a few weeks back. This scene right here is very important for the series. It's very relevant to some of the romance, I guess you could say. But it is just very interesting because this scene is very iconic for, I don't know how it is in the anime, but the manga paneling, it makes, they're sitting on opposite sides from one another, and they're both looking out the window, but the way the manga paneling is done, it makes it look like they're looking at each other, but then it shows that they're looking away from one another. But this shot right here shows him looking right at her. So yeah, I'm not really sure if that is the case, and that's why I'm kind of unsure if this is that scene, because it's very iconic for the sense they're looking away from one another, and that's kind of one of the main points of this whole scene. But absolutely stunning and beautiful, and the fact then that we get color popping into view finally with the logo of DanDaDan, and I love the way they did it where it's kind of rushing towards us and then it just stays present. The logo for DanDaDan, it's very blocky in your face, but there's just something about the logo I'm a huge fan of. The shots of him running are done so well. They really do it just looks like the animation quality has just remained present into season 2. It doesn't look like it's slowed down whatsoever. The way this paneling is done as well, very much like you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember if they did it throughout the season in season 1, but episode 1 especially, or maybe it was episode 2, I think it was the very beginning of episode 2, it did some really cool paneling where it was showing part of like the city skyline and then them walking along the bottom, and this shot right here is reminding me of that. I'm just can't even speak. I'm trying to say everything too fast. Can't remember if that continues throughout the series. I can't remember it. I wouldn't know if this is done in season 2, but it does have a very different vibe from season 1. You know, the season 1 opening was very creepy nuts. Like, there's no other way to describe it other than like it is kind of the definition of a creepy nuts opening. It had all this silliness, goofiness, and dumbassery, if that makes sense, but it also tackled that emotional core, because DanDaDan does deal with a lot of really emotional and quite heavy hitting stuff at times. You know, season 1 of course had Acrobatic Silky. Season 2 has something, in my opinion, that was much worse than that. I believe it should already have been animated, and you guys for the most part should have seen it already. But again, for anyone who maybe hasn't seen season 2 yet of DanDaDan, I don't want to be the guy that spoils it for you, so I'm gonna once again refrain from talking spoilers. I just love that the first opening kind of juggled those two ideas. Look at that as well. Like, I just paused it on the perfect frame. Momo, she'll always be iconic. I've been saying it since episode 1, probably opening 1, you know, of DanDaDan. She will always be the moment. She is it. She's iconic. I think that it's interesting that this opening kind of only really deals with hype, intensity, and getting everyone excited. You know, there's no real down moments, there's no emotional kind of moments within this opening, and that's okay, because not every DanDaDan opening needs to be that way. I just think that it's good to have a balance. Like, I hope there is a future opening that kind of is entirely slower and maybe like tackles more that emotional core, because it's very, very much right at the front and center of a lot of DanDaDan. There's an arc that is coming up in probably season 3, and then another one that probably won't be until like maybe season 5 or further down the line, that I think really need to kind of have people ready for a lot of heavy shit, like just really sad shit, because there's just no slowing down with it. When DanDaDan decides it's going to do flashbacks, you know you're going to have to buckle up, because those are not going to be light. But anyway, we're going to talk about the opening, of course, once more. I love that they kind of continued this trend of having the characters pop in for a second, pulling a silly little pose or something, something that kind of like represents the type of character they are. Like with Momo, she's kind of like, you know, popping in with a pose that indicates kind of lioness-esque, cat-esque, tiger-esque, which showcases her scrappy personality, but it also showcases her playful personality, the fun side of her. So I think that this kind of pose actually ironically is very perfect for a character like Momo. Who do we see next? We get it's so quick. We get to see Hikaru, who is blinded by the light. Don't know what that's about. I guess it's the golden ball. He's kind of just trying to stay out of the light. He's trying to stay out of attention, you know. He's kind of just trying to be himself in the background. Naturally, Aira shows up doing makeup. Look at her. She's there's something about the way they animate expressions in this series that are just so like so great to me. Like I can't explain it, but she looks like someone who would be doing her makeup with the eye open, pulling, like her mouth is kind of pulling up. Like, I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. It kind of reminds me of when you're feeding a baby. You can't help but open your own mouth as you're pulling the spoon up to theirs. Like, you're like, you know, like it just makes me think of that, where like you're doing something and your mouth is just naturally doing its own thing. But yeah, continues into this purple kind of look. Who do we know in this series that is very present in season 2 that has a lot of purple surrounding them? I feel like that's what this is kind of representing. Okay, so then we get to see our favorite little goofball, Gigi. I love that guy so much. And then we get to see Ginta, everyone's favorite punching bag in the series. I'm so excited to see how people think about his character. Moe. There's just so many things in this opening that I could sit here and talk about what this means in the series, what I think this is indicating towards. But I do think that this opening kind of shows a little more than maybe you would think, but it isn't explicitly really spoiling anything. It's kind of presenting this opening of Hikaru kind of running towards maybe Momo, because we see him trying to run away from the tunnel. This shot right here as well. I don't know. This is the artistry here. What more can I say? It almost makes me think of like a spaghetti western or something. I don't know why, but it is so incredible to look at. And then the transition into the golden ball, of course, it's making me think of the transition that they had in the first ending. I can't remember what they did or something, but like it's something transitions into a golden ball, I think, in the first ending. And these golden balls are very important, and we will get to see more about that going on. Of course, like we'll get to see those golden balls doing their thing. And Momo and Aira, they might not be best friends, but they're certainly going to give us a little dance scene. I was talking earlier about how all the best openings have little dance scenes in them. Here we go. Join the Pantheon once again. We had the first DanDaDan opening with a little dance break with Momo dancing in the background, and here we get a little dance break with Aira and Momo here. Another thing that's really cool here is that it's clear that they didn't just do the same thing but switch the character models. Like, they're posed and positioned in kind of different ways here, and it's something so small and so minute detail wise, but it's just further going to show the attention and like the little things that they'll do, when realistically, like, I don't know how animation works, but it just feels like they could have just taken the same shot but flipped it and just changed the character model. And then Momo comes into view, and that's when, holy shit, that shot right there that looks so like this looks so goofy looking, but the way it works, like, let me see, we're gonna play this out. Just the way he comes into view and starts reaching out, it's very Science Saru, very DanDaDan season 1, but holy shit, it looks incredible when you see it played out. But when you pause it on a frame, it does have this unfinished look, but that's part of the fun of it, because it's almost like that kind of like impact frame kind of thing. Like, I don't know what it's called, like an animation, like a keyframe or whatever. And yeah, they reach out for each other, they grab each other, and then we get to see them running alongside one another in one of the craziest looking animated sequences that I've seen in an opening in quite a while, where they're just running together. The streaks of greenish blue and his red, very much contrasting one another, but in such a fun way. And yeah, what a great opening this was. Such a fun one to check out. I'm glad that we were able to check out more DanDaDan. I was really excited for this because I didn't hear anything about it. It has definitely lived up to the hype. I hope that other people have enjoyed this opening a lot. I bet that it gets better and better and better each episode the more you watch it, because that's exactly how I felt about the first opening. I loved it when I first heard it. I loved this one when I first heard it, but the more I heard that first opening as I was watching the episodes, the more I fell in love with it. I'm sure this is the exact same. But yeah, I think we might be ready to move on to the second one. The fourth opening for this video. I can't wait to see what we get next, because we've already got DanDaDan out of the way, and this was one that I was very, very much looking forward to. So let's see what we get in this next opening. Here we go. Opening 4, what have you got in store for us? A VHS player? Or no, tape player. Mirage. Oh. Spanish? What is this? Is that Call of the Night? I recognize that hair. Okay. Creepy Nuts? Speaking of creepy nuts, vampire. This has to be Call of the Night. Wow. I love these little flashes of the little dancing scene. That probably wasn't Spanish at the beginning, but it kind of had like that kind of beat to it. Okay, we're getting to see a lot of the girls here. She looks like a fun character. A thread. What is it tied to? All of these characters in the pictures. Also her. Wow, okay, is that the villain? Is she a vampire killer? This opening almost feels like out of place for the visuals. I can't explain it. That was the least creepy nuts opening I think I've heard, when I was speaking about the last one being like, oh yeah, that's super creepy nuts. There's nothing about it that's inherently not creepy nuts, but when I think creepy nuts, I think, you know, a Bling Bang Bon or a Notonake. This is Call of the Night Season 2, produced by Light & Films. The song is Mirage by the obscure duo Creepy Nuts, whose debut anime song was of course the opening for the first season. I did forget that, and that's so cool that they came back for the second one. I think that that's such a great thing, because people can associate Creepy Nuts with Masho and DanDaDan all they want, but I'm sure Creepy Nuts knows that this series is where they got their break. This is where they jumped in and made a splash. Didn't Creepy Nuts also do the or no, maybe they didn't. Did they do the ending for Call of the Night? Also, I think that it's really interesting because this opening focused on this girl a lot. She was almost like the central main character of this entire opening here. But I remember the first, like, look at that. That's insane looking. I remember the first opening. It was all pretty much her and the guy, main character, who I thought was the main character, but I don't know if we even see him at all in this opening, which is interesting, because what does that mean? Okay, we're moving away from that shot. Does that mean he's like dead? Does that mean he's taking a back seat for this season? Maybe that's all it is. We're gonna go back and look at specific shots and talk about the opening itself in a little second. But Insomniac Ko Yamori wanders the streets and meets a strange girl named Nazuna. Discovers she is in fact a vampire and decides that maybe being her thrall wouldn't be such a bad thing. I forgot about that, and that's such a funny concept. Ko eventually encounters private detective Anko, a specialist in vampire cases with a not too high opinion on the creatures of the night. Anko gets familiar with Ko, seemingly with the intent to get to Nazuna in some way. Ending of season 1 is their old song that inspired the manga. I remember that. I remember someone did mention that in the comments back then. That's really cool. This song of the name is Call of the Night. That's such a cool thing. Like, I think that's so fun. This season of Call of the Night has been amazing so far, really. It's a series that I feel like I hear, like, this is me, someone who doesn't really hear a lot to begin with, but I hear nothing about this series specifically. It does look like a very fun one. The first opening, the ending as well was a ton of fun. I love the concept of the ending, and this opening as well really just makes this look like a very different kind of series, like not one that I expected. Like it looks like it kind of deals with adversaries. Like I didn't think it was that case. I thought that from the first opening and ending that it was more so about like, you know, them just going and doing their own thing each day. You know, it's just kind of like almost like The Office but for creatures of the night. That's how the ending did look anyway. Specifically, this opening definitely makes me think of this series in a very different light. I guess it makes sense when you're dealing with vampires. I don't know if it's all vampires or there are other creatures of the night, or if it's even just one vampire maybe. I guess it makes sense then that there would be those who know about vampires who want to take them down. Very common in a lot of series. You name a series that has vampires, it's probably got a vampire hunter in there. Hadn't thought about that. And what makes, like I said, this opening all the more interesting is that it almost exclusively focuses on these two characters, the main character girl Nazuno and Nazuna, and then the detective name of Anko. It definitely makes it look like they are the only two important characters in this entire series. I wonder if a shot like this kind of indicates that they knew each other when they were younger or something. And it looks like she is a vampire here too, because you can see kind of like the little sharp bit of her tooth. But if she is a vampire already at that point, I wonder if, oh wait, no, that's probably her there. Okay, so whoever that is, it was a childhood friend who is still around these days. Okay, so never mind, I take that all back. I guess Anko and Nazuna were not childhood friends. Seeing Nazuna in this, I would say like Spanish culture outfit, Latin kind of culture, I guess you would say, it really fits what I thought the vibe of this opening song was. Like when it began, I genuinely thought he was singing in Spanish. I don't know if he was or not. Flamenco, I guess. That's definitely probably one of the styles that I'm trying to think of. She's wearing this kind of a like short heel and this long dress with the white socks. Like it definitely looks very stylish, and it makes her look like a fun little character as she's dancing the night away and everything. I wonder if, I remember what I was going to say before, I wonder if vampires in this series, once they're made vampire, if it's kind of like, you know, stereotypical vampire where they'll kind of just stay the age they are when they're turned, or if you're born a vampire. Yeah, I don't know the nature of vampires, how they're created, how they exist, like what their reproduction kind of a system is within this, if it's simply from turning other people or from being born of two vampires. I don't know. It does look like this opening, this is going to sound really weird, but there were shots here within this opening that almost made, like here and everything, it almost made me think of Gokurakugai. I don't even know how to pronounce it properly, but Gokurakugai looks very highly detailed. There's shots of like this girl smoking and everything. So that's what this honestly made me think of at the very beginning, but I knew that couldn't be the case because it doesn't have an anime series. But then, you know, we do see this shot right here of the main characters. The opening itself, like song-wise, it's very different from the rest of CreepyNuts discography within anime. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm glad that they're not pigeonholing themselves into a specific sound, into something that, you know, anytime you hear, oh, CreepyNuts is on this, you know exactly what you're going to get. But it almost also made me think that there was some underlying sadness within the series. Like, it's not something I would have thought from just watching the opening. If I watched this with it entirely muted, I wouldn't have thought there was any sadness. But yeah, with that like almost sad kind of feel that you feel within some of the sections of the song, like especially like the kind of downbeat kind of feel, like it does sound very I wouldn't say depressing, but it definitely doesn't have that hype beast CreepyNuts sound. This season has definitely got you emotional a few times, unlike season 1. Interesting. Well, that makes a lot of sense then, why they would incorporate a song like this, because yeah, I had no idea that this series would have that kind of emotion behind it. I honestly thought that this was just a real feel-good upbeat, silly series. It's one that just followed the main guy in his misadventures with Nazuna. I don't know why it just focuses on feet like that. That's kind of crazy. What is Light and Films trying to tell us? The animation does look stunning, by the way, might I just add, within this opening. That's been a running theme throughout every single opening we've checked out so far. The animation looks incredible. It's stunning. I love the way lighting is done here, with the light coming through the window and the light reflections off her skin, her body, her hair, and everything like that. It definitely makes this look much higher detailed because they've gone to such attention here with this, and it just makes me wonder, what's her deal? Like, what does she want? She looks like she also doesn't sleep. She looks like she's also an insomniac because her eyes are basically hanging off her head here. The shot with this perhaps vampire glitching out looks really cool, and then you get one of the just most insane shots I think I've seen, where the shadowy figure, you can see that it's actually a vampire, and those teeth, those fangs look so highly detailed, like they look so well drawn. Shots like these remind me a bit of like DanDaDan. You know, I know that DanDaDan is not the first to do it, but you know, kind of having these isometric kind of shapes just cutting through figures and stuff, and having the coloring kind of switched up because of that. It's definitely a look that you don't really see all too often, and this fuzzy effect that she has on her, especially with her top that she's wearing, it's making me almost think of like a Fragrant, where Fragrant has this kind of like almost static filter over everything, or it's not really static, but it definitely has like this really cool filter over everything that just gives it a shit ton more detail than it would have otherwise. It's making me think of that, but it's not quite the exact same. To kind of start theorizing a little, she looks towards the left of the screen here, which can, you know, there's two different ways to look at this. She could be looking to the future, or she could be looking to the past, and it all depends on the way you look at looking towards the left or right. For me, this does look like she's looking towards the future, in all honesty, because it looks like she's ready to walk forward. But she's only looking towards the future because right after we see her walking towards the past. So it's almost like she can't escape her past. She's dealing still with whatever is in her past, and she's continuing to have these shots of her dancing, being a silly little goofball, and then these shots of her friend who maybe jumped off a roof so she would save her. And I don't understand why. I don't know what this shit's about, but it has me worried. Is there some sort of like multi-dimensional kind of thing, or are there like pocket spaces where you can inhabit but that don't really exist within the real world or anything like that? Do people just suddenly disappear in this series? Is that to do with one of the nighttime bodies? I have no idea what to make from this scene right here with the nurse, but open to interpretation. She just looks so fun and iconic. She looks like she's playful, so it makes it all the more interesting that we get to see her fangs a lot this opening. Like, we get to see her actually stand up and fight and probably deal with a lot of stuff here. She's obviously dealing with Anko. She's having to probably deal with her own stuff because it's showing her friend every so often cutting away and stuff, and I don't know if they still have a good relationship. I don't know if they're still friends. I don't know if this friend is maybe going to turn into a rival. And then we get a really cool shot showing the thread that connects them all. So it shows Anko with the thread running alongside. It's connected to every single character that might be a main present character in the series. Don't know if it shows Ko though, our main character. It doesn't look like it, but once it gets to Nazuna, she just looks like an absolute dumbass goofball, and I love it so much. I think it's such a fun way to present her, because I'm sure this is exactly the kind of character she is, and the best way to showcase a character like this is to just have them be themselves. And then the big fight, the big brawl that happens right after when they're on the rooftop, and Nazuna is getting the most bonkers animation treatment. Like, look at shots like these. She's got that sans glow in her eyes, and this, like, the painting style that they've used for it to kind of showcase the intensity and make her look inhuman almost. Like, it's making her stand out and look very different, and I think that it was a great choice. I think it adds a lot to this scene, having her look like this, because she does not look like she belongs in this world whatsoever. She stands out, and it's such a great way to kind of indicate that. And I love that we get to see her go sicko mode here. I hope that this isn't spoiling anything for anime onlys, but if it is, I hope that you're still enjoying this season, because it doesn't look anything like the first season from my understanding anyway. I think I might be ready to check out the next one, Creepy Nuts. Back at it again. I'm so glad we got a Creepy Nuts opening this year. I didn't think we would, in all honesty, after they did double duty last year. I thought that we would skip this year for Creepy Nuts, but I'm glad that we didn't. I'm glad that they're back. I'm glad that they're doing their thing. It sounds like all their other songs in your opinion, but opinions will vary. Yeah, the voice is obviously very much the same, and let me see, like the cadence and the way that he carries his voice is very much the same. It does have that kind of rappy feel to it. And of course, you know, there are some like silly little sections, silly moments, but it's just the fact that it's got this Latin sounding and feeling beat over the top of it that gives it a really downbeat feel that just makes this feel so different. And as well as that, you know, it almost feels at times, because of that kind of downbeat feel to it, that the visuals and song don't pair up perfectly for one another. Like, it's kind of making me feel two different things, but I guess that's intentional because of what we've heard here by with the fact that season 2 does have some emotional moments in it. But yeah, we're going to check out the next one, opening number 5, see what we get. Is that a guy falling, or is that a light crack? Let's see what we get in opening number 5. Here we go. Holy shit, it's Kaiju number 8. Okay, so they're continuing with the 3D look that they went with for the first opening. Very polarizing looking kind of opening. Is that Kafka? Okay. I'm not sure Kaiju number 8 is the kind of series that needs like a really downbeat opening. I hope it kicks off. Okay, there we go. Oh shit, okay, there it is. Wow. Vort from Dark Souls 3. You can't run from yourself, Aurora. And there's big number 9's face right there. Oh. It's a really, really interesting opening. I'll give it that. I really like the song actually though. Oh shit, there it is. Oh, it's such a cool shot to finish on though. That's a really cool shot to finish on with big number 9 in the background. I think it's really cool that here they almost look like action figures or something. You know, they're almost like got this like plastic look to them. I think that that's really fun. But I don't know. I was never like, I didn't do a reaction to the first opening, so my opinion isn't out there. I love the song for the first opening. I thought the song was banger, but the visuals, they didn't really win me over. I didn't really care for like the huge focus on 3D and then, you know, like all the visual stuff that they were doing. And to see it continue into this one, I think it's cool that they're continuing that trend. I think it's really cool that they are, you know, running with that. They're not dropping it. They're making sure that that's going to be a running theme across these openings. But for me personally, I'd rather see an opening like what we saw right before this. Call of the Night, DanDaDan, City, and of course, Takopi's Original Sin. Like those 4 openings, that's my bread and butter. That's the shit I want to see. Like, I know that with Takopi, I did say, oh, this looks so different and original and unlike anything I've ever seen. I think I said the same thing for City. The same could be said for this, of course, but it I don't know. It's just not something that I'm super crazy about. But the song is incredible. I really love the song, though at the same time, I'm not sure it really fits Kaiju number 8 all that well. Kaiju number 8 isn't really a series that ever deals with like really emotion, like deep emotion or anything. Like it can and it will, like, it'll, like, there are certainly moments. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but for the most part, it's like, it's a hypebeast series, right? Like, it's a series that, you know, gets you pumped and, you know, you're excited and the characters you fall in love with and everything. But yeah, it just didn't, in my mind, feel the most fitting for Kaiju number 8 of all series. I'm not going to shit on it though. I do love the song. The visuals were cool. I'll give it that. I do think that the visuals are cool. I like what they do with it and everything, but it's just not my favorite. This is the opening for Kaiju number 8, season 2, You Can't Run From Yourself by AURORA, a Norwegian singer. A plot synopsis, you tell me, bub. You say it's a Norwegian singer. The really funny thing that I was thinking as I was hearing this is that it was reminding me a lot of one of the cutaway songs in like Alan Wake 2, where they'll just play a song between chapters. But it was making me think of like one of those songs, and I'm pretty sure it was all Finnish artists, you know, artists that are all from Finland, the country that Remedy Studio are from, and that was really cool. I love that every time. Like, I was playing the game with my wife, and I don't think we ever once skipped one of the songs. We enjoyed each of them, and it was just like a nice little way to round out a chapter, right? And it does certainly have a similar kind of vibe or feel here. Maybe that's just because, like, I'm not used to seeing or hearing like very English openings within like these sets or anything. Like, there certainly have been a few. An opening like this, I think it has some cool concepts and shot ideas, but there's just something about shots like this that if you look at them too long, it's almost got like a Final Fantasy Spirits Within kind of look to them. Like, there's just something about it that's just not fully like, I don't know, but it, like, conceptually, I love what they're going with here. If you enjoy this opening, I'm glad, and I love that for you. I'm not here to say this is a bad ending by any means. Like I've said, I love the concept, I love the idea, I love some of the shots, and I think visually it is cool, and song, I love it. But Kaiju number 8, I'm really interested in the ending because the first ending was one of my favorites of the year. I think I included it in my list. I think I put up a list when I uploaded the final ending video for 2024. I included a list in the description of my top 10 or top 15 favorites of the year, and I'm pretty sure that was in there. It does show quite a bit. I'm not here to give a synopsis. I know, Pinecino, you were joking there, you know, like here about the synopsis and everything. In this day and age, it has the look of AI to you, which is very unfortunate because the guy behind the look has been at it for years before all that crap. That is very unfortunate because, like, I'm not here to fault someone's talent. That's not what I'm here to do, because visually it's very impressive, but it's just like, I don't know, like, I much prefer like openings like the ones we got before this. And yeah, whoever did this opening did a great job. Like, I do think that it has a lot of great visually 3D like celebratory moments. Like, it's making me think of what you just said, where people, or where it's got like an almost AI look, but it's not AI because this person has been doing this for years. It's making me think of like people who thought that the Severance openings, intros, whatever you call them when they're in English, people tend to think sometimes that that's AI because of how it looks, but no, that's very much the style that person has been doing for years, and it looks great. Like, this does look great. I just don't think Kaiju number 8 is a series, like, in my mind, that kind of needs this look. Like, it has all these badass shots and stuff, and like, yes, Kaiju number 8 can be badass, but in my mind, like, the thing that I love most about Kaiju number 8 is the camaraderie and just the characters and the way they are with one another. So I would love to see an opening that kind of more so focuses on that instead of trying to be badass. And I have finished Kaiju number 8. The series wrapped up recently and I finished it, and I'm not going to share my thoughts on that here in this video because I'll be talking all day about how I felt about the series. I have a lot of opinions, and even still, like, I haven't solidified my opinion. I'm still sitting with it, and I'm still kind of like stewing. Apparently AURORA also did an insert song for the One Piece live action, for Nami in Arlong Park. Nami in Arlong Park. Really? That's cool. Yeah, I think I got as far as like episode 3 or 4 in the One Piece live action. I was watching it with my little sister and we were both really enjoying it, but it was around the time that I moved. It was just impossible to keep up with her and watching it because of time zones and everything. But it is a series that I would like to finish with her one day. I don't know when it would be. You're unsure on that manga ending and final arc too. Yeah, it's just like, I'm not going to get too into it because you know, for the sake of this being about the opening and everything, but it just felt like there was a lot more potential that just wasn't fully realized with Kaiju number 8, especially with what I was just talking about. For me, the main highlight being about the characters and their camaraderie. I just felt like it was almost like a slap in the face right at the end when it didn't really finish out in such a way that it tied up those knots really nicely. But it is a series that I still did really enjoy. My time with Kaiju number 8, I had an absolute blast with, even though those month-long waits were painful at times for a new chapter. I do think that the opening itself, like I said, had some great ideas, and I really do think that it stands out. This so stands out. There's nothing else like this out there. And Kaiju number 8 continually, 2 times now, has produced like 2 of the most unique looking openings. I'm not here to bash on this. That's not my intent. It is kind of also reminding me of like the first Ghost in the Shell standalone complex opening, which had really like old school janky PS2 looking 3D CG. And don't get me wrong, this looks a lot better than that. So much better than that visually, but it is reminding me a lot of that for some reason. It's not exactly like, it's not making me think like, holy shit, this looks exactly like that, but it's definitely making me think of that so much. Is this the dichotomy of soul and no soul? I wouldn't say that. I don't think that this is soulless or anything like that. I just think that it's, in my mind, not the most fitting opening for Kaiju number 8. I did make the joke while this was playing that this is reminding me of Vort from Dark Souls 3. And also, let me just say as well, the way that this artist has incorporated lighting this time around, I know that lighting was also like very cool and present in the first opening for this series, but the lighting is absolutely stunning. The way everything is in shadow and everything, like, then the light is just popping through. Smoke is used to conceal. It is really, really cool. And then I love the way it zooms out and we get to see something even bigger coming in. And then we get to see something even bigger coming in right at the end with big number 9 right here. Definitely a great opening at, you know, showing the evolution and the advancement and going from point A to point B, whatever. And like I said, the lighting is amazing. The fact that these look like action figures at the end, I think, is super impressive, like the plastic sheen, because I can't imagine that was easy. This looks very difficult to do, especially with all these particles and all these effects happening in the background, kind of showing the destruction and chaos and just how huge this final boss is of what we're seeing here. It's really just impressive that the artist was able to incorporate all of this and make this look so intense and intimidating, but also look so cool. My intention here is not to make it sound like I think this is bad or anything. That's not the case at all. I'm not going to harp on it much longer because I feel like it just sounds like I'm beating down on it when that is definitely not what I want to do. So I think I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm glad we got to check out Kaiju number 8 opening because I was really interested in how this would look. I did not trash the Kaiju number 8 opening. That is not true. But yeah, I'm excited to see what we get in this next opening, and I'm super excited to see the Kaiju number 8 ending because, like I said, that first ending was one of my favorites of the year. And I'm glad you included this, Pinecino. I know you said earlier that you thought about not including this. You like the ending a lot more. Very much like season 1 again then. But yeah, I hope that you guys do like this opening, and if you did, please share that below. I'd love to see some positivity for this opening. I don't know if I said ending, but yeah, I'd love to see some positivity for this opening. I'd love to see you guys be super positive about this because I just would love to see praise for this. I feel like I didn't do a great enough job at praising this. We're going to move on to opening number 6 and see what we get in this next one. let's go. I'm wondering if this is going to be Sakamoto days, now that we have finished the other two that I have seen seasons 1 of, and then it's gonna be all the unknown from there on out. Maybe not. Maybe Sakamoto days isn't on this list. Maybe it's showing up later. I don't know. Let's see what we get in opening number 6. Let's go. Number 6. What'll it be? Okay. Small umbrella. Umbrella makes me think romance. Fragrance, flower blooms with dignity. I was gonna say the only romance series I can think of airing. Oh, this sounds so cute though. Hold on, this voice sounds very familiar. Oh, a boys' school and a girls' school. Interesting. Is this Tatsuya Kitani? Oh, the umbrella. Oh, that's such a cute shot. She's so adorable. Oh, I love all these shots from his perspective. Caramel apple. Was he eating sea salt ice cream? Oh, this is such a cute opening. Clover works. Oh, he's reaching out for the umbrella. This is such a nice opening. Wow, they really made her look so, like, stunning and so different in this world. That was beautiful. That was so good. Let me just see if that was indeed Tatsuya Kitani. This is The Fragrance Flower Blooms with Dignity. My wife has the first volume for this, but I don't think she's read it because she wanted to collect more of it before she started reading, and she kind of fell out of reading. The Fragrance Flower Blooms with Dignity, produced by Cloverworks, directed by Miyuki Kuroki, scripted by Rino Yamazaki, who will be handling the upcoming season of Spy Family as well. That's cool. Character designs by Kohei Tokioka, first time at that role, primarily an animator. That's cool that we're getting to see 2 first time character designers who were previously animators in this list. You know, last time it was, I think it was Takopi, right? Music by Moeki Harada. Anime debut, cool. And based on the manga by Saka Mikami. The song is Yurgi's Crepuscular by Tatsuya Kitani. I knew it. I recognized that voice, and like immediately I recognized it, and it took me a little bit to figure out who it was, but anyone who's been keeping count of how wrong I am when it comes to recognizing voice actors, musicians, and singers and everything like that, you can put this in the finally got one right tally. Crepuscular, yeah, like how do you pronounce that? Crepuscular or Crepuscular? Tatsuya Kitani, of course, did the first opening for JJK Season 2, which is one of my favorites of JJK, by the way. I much prefer it over specials. Pinecino knows exactly how I feel about specials. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but also did the Ranger Reject opening, Bleach 1000 Year Blood War opening 1. Specials chads always win, I fear. So before I read this synopsis that Pinecino has shared, I'm going to share what I think I remember my wife telling me about. She might have read some of Volume 1, or maybe she read the entirety of Volume 1. But what I remember is, I guess I didn't know about the 2 different schools, boys' school and girls' school. I think one of them works at or owns a bakery, which would make sense why we see like a cake or something at some point during this. The other frequents that bakery or something, and they kind of hit it off from there. Like, that's all I know. So that's my knowledge of the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, though I do also know that it is very much one of the most popular current series that is being published in manga. I know that if you check my anime list, the score for that series is insanely high. I imagine that with Cloverworks at the helm of this anime as well, this is going to be a ridiculously high score for the anime too by the time it ends, or by the time season 1 wraps up. So this series, I don't know what it does, it's so unique or different, and that sets it apart from other romance series, because from the opening alone, it was giving me similar vibes to like how we saw things happening in something just from last year, Blue Box, for example. It was making me feel the same way I felt when I was watching those openings. I would be interested to learn maybe one day what makes this so special to a lot of people. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with characters and the way that the romance is done and everything. But yeah, I'm not going to keep going on about that. I'm going to read this little synopsis that Pinecino shared. So here we go. Chidori High and Kikyo Girls High stand next door to each other yet couldn't be farther apart. One is attended by seemingly rough boys goofing off. The other trains mostly rich girls meant for high-class society. That makes sense because his character design does look much more rough around the edges. His hair, it's got some spikes and everything. He's got like the cool guy earrings and everything like that. He does look very cool, but during shots within this, he's also looking at the window almost like he's longing for something. Like maybe he's sensing that he doesn't necessarily belong here. He wants to do more. He wants more for his life. That makes sense based on his appearance. And I didn't really get a good look at other guys within that school, but you know, I'll try and pay attention as I skim through this opening again. The girls do look very prim and proper, I guess you could say. Rintaro looks like a delinquent that fits right into Chidori, but that perception betrays his kind heart. That's kind of what I was going with, where I was like, he's looking out the window almost like he doesn't belong, like he's longing for something else. He helps at his family's pastry shop. Okay, so there's that. I was like, bakery, but pastry, okay, makes sense. Where he meets and quickly befriends a girl named, forgive me, Karuko? I hope is how that's pronounced. Their peace is disturbed when both discover they attend opposing schools. But that doesn't mean they can't be friends, right? Crepuscular definition of resembling or relating to Twilight. Okay. Can their friendship prevail prejudice? Tune in next week and find out. It's gotta. But I think that's really cool that it's almost like they're being pitted against each other just because of who they are, where they go, and the company that they have. You know, they have no issues with each other. It's just about everyone else that has the problem. Yeah. Dun dun dun. What are his friends gonna think if they find out that he's talking to a girl from this prim and proper girls' school? What are her friends gonna think when she's talking to a delinquent from that darn boys' school that doesn't do any work and just goofs off all the time? I'm sure it makes for some drama when it comes to, you know, like relationships, like friends and everything like that. I wonder if that gets in the way of a potential romance. I wonder if this is the kind of like series that has a really slow burn romance. Like I know that one of the biggest slow burn romance series out there that is super popular is Kaguya. I guess Kaguya is much more of a rom-com type series where it also incorporates a lot of comedy, but I don't know if this is like that, where the romance takes a while to come to fruition, or if this is one where they're kind of just like, you know what, despite all that bullshit with the schools and how our friends feel about each other, what are we waiting for? Both would be really interesting, because one would deal with more of a drama sense, the schools and everything and them not being together, whereas the other would make this a really romance heavy series because they're in a romantic series fairly early on. I'm not a romance guy. That's not me saying I don't like romance. I've just never seen anything romance related apart from DanDaDan, if you'll forgive me for that one. So I don't know how romance series kind of generally flow. I know that in a lot of series, going back to something like Blue Box that I was just talking about, I know that there's normally like a secondary love interest for either one or both of the main leads. I don't know if this would also do that, because this looks to be a series that, from what I saw here, focuses on just these two from the opening anyway. There's probably some drama and some stuff that comes between them and stuff that they have to deal with, but I hope that they do deal with it together. Pinecino says that people shorten this to Bloom, so I will do the same for the sake of going forward when talking about this. It's a long title to say. It's like ReZero. You're just going to shorten it to one part of the title. You're not going to say starting life in a new world. Talk of umbrellas. Tatsuya Kitani's beautiful voice coming through. The way that the reflections are done here, everything just looks stunning, sounds stunning, and definitely made me think almost immediately romance. And that's when I was like, what romance series would be airing right now? And I did almost call out Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. I know I just said I would call it by its shortened title. I did almost call that out, but then the title did flash on the screen. I'm glad that this series does look like an incredible one. I think it's so cool seeing the way that they present the girl lead here, because she looks unlike anyone else in this world. Cloverwork cooks good in this opening animation. Absolutely they did. Cloverwork always cooks hard in the openings. I suppose another thing to note about the series is that it is currently sentenced to Netflix jail. Damn. Where it is airing in Japan on a weekly basis, but will release as a batch worldwide later on. Why? Just why? Why would they do that? Like, that's so dumb. I didn't realize that it hadn't even started airing worldwide yet because of Netflix. I thought that it was just behind because of Netflix. So that's so damn annoying. That just seems so unnecessary and just so dumb. Is that a Cloverworks thing, or is that Netflix? Like, who decided to do that? That doesn't stop some of us. Yeah, that's going to be me when JoJo Part 7 starts airing. I will not be watching that with the localized name, the localized stands names and everything. I will do my best to find other means. You really can't tell anymore. Fair enough. Here I think it's cool that we get to see our main guy walking straight here. He's looking down. He doesn't exactly look the happiest. He just kind of is living life like very normally. Like, it's just very mundane almost looking, with the rain falling in the background. This realistic looking imagery in the background, like almost like that someone took a real photo and they just added like a crazy filter on top, made it look a little less real and more stylistic. But he's walking away from that kind of life. It's like he's just walking forward, leaving that kind of stuff behind. The rain continues to fall around him, and he's using his clear see-through umbrella. The fact that it's clear and see-through and not colorful kind of once again showcasing his not so colorful life that he maybe lives. His clothes are very plain, his uniform, black and white with a clear see-through umbrella. There's not any color really. But then we cut straight to our girl lead, and she is full of color. Her life is color. She's got a big red umbrella, she's got a pink dress, and even her hair, like, it's just like dark hair, but the way the light's shining on it, the shine that it has, it's giving her a lot of life and character. And I think that the dynamic, what's the word when it's two complete opposite things? Well, whatever it is, the way it's showing the two complete opposite lives that they live makes you wonder how these two opposites attract and everything even came to know each other. She's walking towards nature, by the way. She's walking towards everything, whereas he was walking away. A dichotomy, it's a word that I was thinking of, yeah, but I guess the word probably is dichotomy. I feel like contrast. It's literally just contrast is the word. My brain isn't on today, but dichotomy definitely does explain it a lot better, because it is very much a dichotomy, like the two lives they live and the two worlds that they live in. But the contrast between the two is very obvious. The wild thing is, Japanese weekly uploads on Netflix have English subs, which some of us watch it with. That's crazy. So they've already done the official translation. It just seems so backwards. Like, there has to be a reason. I wonder if Netflix made the call because they've got something else airing. Is it Sakamoto Days? Did they not want to double up on big series? Did they want to put their focus on Saka Days so that then after it they could drop this series, Bloom? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and try and figure out their business decisions. It just seems so illogical and dumb to me. Sagades is doing the same thing, just a week delay. Oh no. That's so terrible. It has to be Netflix then. Netflix ruined part 6 of JoJo. Anyway, back to the opening. I love the way she's presented. She has so much light and life in her. Like, do we see any of the other guys? Yeah, just kind of basic delinquent looking guys, I guess. Nothing really crazy. All spiky hair, lazing off, not really paying attention, looking out the window, going to sleep, yawning, just kind of lazy. We got the G-Quux water over here. Right across from them is this, I guess, is this the other school? Is this like, it's a brick wall obviously, but is this the other school, kind of showing literally how close they are physically, but then seeing the contrast, it goes to show just how different they are. Like, they couldn't be further apart in a literal sense, like how they are and how, like, what they do and everything. I don't know if that's making sense, but it's just really ironic how close they are physically. Even the curtains are all pulled. Really? I hadn't even noticed that. They are. They don't want to look out at them. That's so sad. That's really sad. I wonder if she ever looks out the window at him once their relationship starts to bloom. I just can't get over how beautiful they made her look. The way they designed her face and everything, it stands out amongst everything else. Like, it shows all these other characters. Like, let me see if I can find this shot here. Even here, yes, she does look like she's designed very well as well, but they just go the extra mile for the girl lead here. And I think that that's important to show us just exactly what he sees when he sees her. He doesn't just see another girl. He sees this girl full of life, full of energy, full of light in her eyes, and full of beauty. And I just love the way that it's literally being shown to us here. Almost like we're watching her through his perspective anytime we see her. And it's especially made all the more apparent when we actually do see those shots. Oh, we actually do see a shot then of presumably her opening the curtain, and then it shows her looking at him. So that's actually really cool. I really appreciate that. I love that a lot. He starts to see the umbrella. He goes to run towards it. He wants to capture it. That's when it starts to show all these shots of her from his point of view. And she is the definition of grace, beauty, and just everything. And she doesn't look like she's trying. She's literally just smiling. She's just looking at him. And she's not even like doing anything crazy. She's eating food. She's got her phone up, maybe taking a picture of him. All these moments that are probably just simple little things are almost like screenshots in his mind, like photo captures that he has saved of these moments of her looking as beautiful as she is, simply by just being her. And I think that that's a really cool thing, that there's nothing crazy being shown here. She's just being her, and we're seeing just how he sees her, even her laugh. I don't know, it's something else. It's such a beautiful series. I guess she helps him with his grades and stuff, and I think that's really cool too, because it goes to show he doesn't want to fall into the crowd that he's been associated with. He doesn't want to fall into obscurity. He wants to do something with his life. He wants to go forward, and he wants to maybe do something. Like the way those waves were done there, it's so stunning. I just love a good Cloverworks opening. They always go above and beyond. So elegante. I don't know if I have really much more to say. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's a shame that they didn't incorporate the first volume cover into this, because I'm pretty sure the first volume cover is them kind of like laughing and walking together. This is the closest thing I could think of to that cover, but even then it's nothing like it. I just love when they incorporate the volume covers in series. It's one of my favorite things. Funnily enough, then Cloverworks, didn't they also do Windbreaker? Because some of the character designs here, like this guy especially, is making me think of Windbreaker. And the fact that, you know, those are also delinquents with kind hearts. I think that it's almost ironic that there's that same thread, same theme present in both. I know obviously they're nothing like each other. One is romance series, one is very heavily action focused, but I think at the core they have really beautiful concepts and beautiful ideas, and I'd love to know, like I said, just what it is that makes this series so special to a lot of people. And I think it's really cool as well because this girl looks to be really close with our main character. We get to see as well then that it's almost like over the course of the series we get to see a group of friends form. It's not just me and guy, me and girl becoming friends and becoming, you know, in a relationship. His friends become friends with her friends. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that that would be really just fun to see play out. And I honestly think that it's a great choice, because otherwise we just have these two worlds that never really collide. So by having them collide maybe early, it would make some really cool dynamics potentially to see throughout the series. Like, we might see some of the girls be a little more confident in themselves, because the guys, I'm sure, are very cocky and confident. Whereas with the guys, we might see them be a little kinder. We might see them do good acts a little more and soften up a little and just generally be better people that aren't so lazy. But yeah, regardless of all that, I think this was a beautiful opening. I'm so glad that we got to check this out. I love a good romance opening. Romance openings never miss. Fragrant flower blooms with dignity. What a great looking series this is. I'm sure this is one that a lot of people are enjoying, because this is one of the most anticipated series to have come along in a long time, at least from my understanding, simply because that manga is huge. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it. What a beautiful opening visually, and the song. Tatsuya Kitani brought his absolute A game, and this it was just such a fun sound. And I'm gonna have to listen to this one again after, because I love a good Tatsuya Kitani opening song, and I'm excited to see what he does next going forward, because he is an absolute king. And yeah, we're going to check out the next one. So we're going to move on to opening number 7, I believe. So yeah, let's see what we get in the next one. Let's go. All right, let's see what we get in opening number 7. Here we go. That's got to be Gachiakuta, surely. No, it's not. I just saw the kind of like look of a graffiti almost. Dr. Stone. I did not know Dr. Stone was airing. That's so funny. Okay. We're getting to see just about every character here. I feel like there's normally a focus on just a small handful. The voice sounds very familiar. There's the villains. I remember them from the last opening ending, I believe. Wow, look at that. That's so cool. Oh shit, okay. I think it's interesting that some of them still look very primitive, and then there's others that are obviously so technologically advanced looking. And looking up once again to the moon. When are we going to go to the moon? It's been too long. We've been looking at this moon for way too long. When are we going? Damn. I can't believe I was like Gachiakuta immediately. Let me explain myself. There's actually no explaining it. I don't know what it is. I guess it was just like the coloration used. I just immediately assumed that it was going to be Gachiakuta. That's embarrassing on my part. But yeah, that's why I tend to keep my mouth shut until I know for sure what these things are. I will do better. Science Future, is this just a continuation of that same season or arc? Yeah, this is going to be really, really interesting, because I've got every opening and ending besides, I guess, this new one already on the channel, and they're all there. You can go watch them whenever you want. So this is the first time I'm doing one with Pinecino and with any of you guys that are in stream for one of these playlist videos where I'm actually getting a synopsis, because every time I've checked one of these out, I've had to guess what I think is happening. I have had no clue. I've had no hints, no kind of indication whatsoever, apart from what I think this is maybe. Couple of things that I want to do. I want to try and figure out who is this singer. It's so familiar. There's only 2 voices that are coming to mind, and you can guess one of them because it's the same person I guess every time, but it definitely isn't him. I'll just say, so I'm either thinking Eve or KANA-BOON. only those two, because like the singer's voice for KANA-BOON and both Eve as well, very like unique and has like a to it or something. Like I can't explain it. And but I don't think this is Eve now that I've listened to a little bit of it again. I would guess this is KANA-BOON. Again, I'm probably embarrassing myself just like I did when this opening began, and I was like, holy shit, it's Gachiakuta. For the record, I forgot Gachiakuta actually was airing right now. I just reminded myself of that when when this opening started. Song wise, I think it's so fun, it's so upbeat, and it definitely gets you excited and hyped. Visually, I think it's so cool because it definitely takes a different approach. I feel like you'll have to forgive me, it's been a while since I've checked out the Dr. Stone openings. I feel like the Dr. Stone openings are generally like visuals from the show, whereas this, it looks very pop art style, like almost like some of these characters are 3D. Like there's a certain look to it that makes it look very different and almost sets it apart from maybe how it looks in series. But then you could probably say, well, it only looks that way because their colors are muted and there's background and, you know, everything like that. So maybe it doesn't actually look much different from how it looks in series. But for me, this looks like maybe the most different opening that I can think of out of like trying to remember opening for this series. And I think that's so badass and cool. I love that they're switching it up even now, this late in the series. This is Dr. Stone Science Future Part 2, second part of the series, 4th season, produced by TMS as always. Staff is largely consistent from the previous season. You've only ever seen fans pleased with how the adaptation has gone on over the years, which is a bit rare. Yeah, that's really cool. That's one thing I can definitely say about when I would do Dr. Stone uploads. The response was so overwhelmingly positive for this series. Like some of those videos, the views, you know, like they're pretty good, but the amount of comments are generally like almost 2 times, 3 times that of other videos with similar views. So it just goes to show like how, I wouldn't say rabid, I feel like that's not the word I'm looking for, but like how devoted and how positive people, like fans and people are of this series. And I think that's a great thing. I genuinely love to see such positivity around a series. And I'm always happy to see Dr. Stone again because I know that it's something that people love so much. So I, for one, have positive experiences with this series because of the positive responses from everyone when I upload these. So yeah, again, spiel finished. I'm gonna read the synopsis. Hand in hand with that is, at the anime's current pace, a 5th season would see the manga fully adapted. The song is Supernova by, you guessed it, the one and only KANA-BOON. Holy shit, we got there in the end. That was going to be super embarrassing if I didn't get that. I'm not gonna lie. That was going to be so embarrassing. It's just like, it's such a unique voice, but I'm so bad when it comes to those things. That's 2 for 2 so far today. I wonder then in season 5 if they're finally going to go to the moon. It feels like everything's been leading up to this moon this entire time. They have been looking at that moon. They have been reaching for that moon. Every opening and ending pretty much has a shot with them looking towards the moon. So come on, when are we going to get there? When are they going to give it to us? But yeah, Dr. Stone Science Future, what a cool opening this was. Like visually, it didn't do anything super crazy apart from this shot right here. And this shot is absolutely bonkers insane. It really looks like the kind of look you would have seen back in the mid to late 2000s or something, I'm guessing. I would say Sonic Strikers kind of look with this super scratchy shaded look or something. Like I'm sure there's other series and other things that have done it as well, but it is making me think of like mid to late 2000s right here, and I think it's so cool. I love this so much. I wish we got to see more of this like kind of look in other things. Regardless of that, another thing we see like the sciencey equations in the background as well, so kind of indicating to us that they're still driving along this road of science, and they're still not quite at their destination. Science is still with them. It's both behind them and traveling with them, so maybe it's actually indicating that they're bringing science with them rather than what I just said. Like, you could say either or, because obviously these technological advancements would not have been possible without probably the use of science and without those minds that are able to produce and create these advancements and everything like that. So yeah, it's making me think, are there two different tribes? Because we see our main character, I think his name is Senku, right here with some other characters, and they look like they are wearing kind of specialized gear, specialized outfits, specialized clothing, maybe for this kind of travel. And obviously right out in front is Purple Guy, the guy who I have been theorizing is almost like a friendly adversary for our main character. Like, they are so opposite to one another. I think it was one of the recent endings that I checked out. It almost looked like he was really good at one thing while Senku, our main character, was really good at the other. So they're kind of like two parts of a perfect whole. So I'm glad to see that they're actually together in this opening, and I'm glad to see that they're both working towards a future, or working towards something. I guess since the last time you checked out Dr. Stone was before you got into ReZero, was Senku and Subaru the same voice actor? Really? That's so interesting. I guess I couldn't imagine that voice in any other role, but that's simply because to me that's Subaru. But that's so cool. Like, I do love his voice actor. I think he's a great one. I think that he does a great job at every step of the way. But from what I've seen of Dr. Stone, the characters look so different from one another. Like, Subaru's someone who has to go through a lot of emotional turmoil, so the voice actor has to really push himself through those moments and like really bring a really crazy intensity to the role. Whereas with Senku, I don't know if there's really a need for that. I haven't seen anything from openings or endings to kind of indicate that there's this really deep intensity for the series. It just kind of seems like he's maybe just like a guy. Like, he's a guy who knows what he's doing. He sounds way more confident than Senku. Okay, that's a better way of what I was trying to say. He does look like he'd be very confident. Like, every shot we see, he's leading the charge. He's doing his own thing. He is sitting here with his arms crossed. Someone else is driving for him, you know? Like, he doesn't have to do a thing. He's him. He is just the guy. He's the Dr. Stone, you know? But like I was saying, I wonder if there's two different tribes, because we see this tribe here and everything, but then we also see characters who still look very primitive in design, in their clothing choices and everything, and their weapon choices. They don't look like they've really adapted to this technological movement that Senku has brought along. They look like they just kind of want to do their own thing. They're not super on board with it. But I don't know if that means they're antagonistic. I wouldn't think so, because I've never seen anything to indicate that. Apart from this guy right here. Holy shit, he's got a Buster Sword. Where'd he pull that out of? I don't remember seeing that in previous openings, endings. But this guy right here, he did look like he was maybe a little antagonistic in the first couple openings. So I wonder if they worked out their differences and now they kind of work alongside each other, or if he's still like an antagonistic force for Senku and for everything that they're doing. But of course, then we do see the actual villains right after it shows him. So that's what, well, one of the villains anyway. The kind of cracks on her face, I wonder if the face markings represent anything, and if so, what they represent. Because my guess at the start was that maybe those were cracks in the stone, that when they were turned to stone and then when they came back they still had these cracks. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, unless it's kind of like a tattoo type deal, or they literally just draw it on. Like, who knows? These are a whole bunch of characters I don't recall ever seeing. I don't recognize like any of these characters right here. Pirate Guy is still with us. That's really interesting. I wonder what he wants, because if he's a pirate, why wouldn't he just go set sail? Is there something keeping him here? I did say, I think a while ago, that he did look kind of like Senku, I thought, but I don't think that's the case at all. Though I do think Senku's father is the one that we saw in certain endings and stuff, where it looked like he was some sort of astronaut that went to the moon, I think. I'm curious then if Senku has kind of enrolled the pirate guy, the whole concept that he will go on his biggest adventure yet. Like, he's going to go to the moon. There's no more sailing to new lands, like on the sea or anything, going to new islands, why not go on the biggest adventure of all and go to the moon? Like, that's all I can really think of. But why is he necessary? Do they need his ship? Doesn't he have a like literal ship? Like, what's he gonna do? Is he also a pilot perhaps? Can he navigate? Like, yeah, I don't understand his role. I guess everyone else has their own roles. You know, they advance things technologically. They're very sciencey. They maybe do whatever it is that they do, but I'm scratching my head still for the pirate guy. And maybe Senku needs him in order to set sail for the moon. That's what I was just saying. That's why I'm also wondering why that would be necessary. We get to see the little onion guy right there too. I love that they're all looking up towards the moon. They all know their destination. They all know where they're headed. I never got a plot summary for Dr. Stone. That's what I was saying at the start of this. I was like, I have been guessing my whole way through. I've been fumbling my whole way through Dr. Stone. I know nothing about the series. Anytime I've checked out Dr. Stone, it's been for a video that I've recorded myself. That explains a lot. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's fun. Maybe like something we could do if I'm still like doing videos like these when season 5 airs and we check out it. Let me do my thing. Let me guess my way through it, and then you can give me the full thing. For now, I think it's really fun that this is a series I know nothing about. It's showing them all looking towards the moon. They know their destination. Very ending of Shadowbringers core where they all look up at the moon. It ends with Senku and he reaches towards the moon, but it doesn't end on that. It ends on showing the nature of this world and everything that they experience. So it's almost like showing you the final destination. I'm laughing because I've watched the new Final Destination movie just last week. Very good movie, by the way. I would recommend it if anyone enjoys the franchise. It's a huge return to form. But anyway, it's almost like it's showing the final destination for them. But then it goes and shows a really quick montage of everything that they did to lead them there. Like everything they went through and just all these things that brought them where they are. They're finally ready, perhaps, to make their way to the moon. Little did they know that that's only the first trial up there. Absolutely. The way that this is done here, like with this filter, it definitely makes it look like a those were the days kind of thing. So it's very interesting because this shot right here, ordinarily any other time would be the closing shot for, I think, a Dr. Stone opening ending. Definitely opening anyway. So now I'm curious what this little montage at the end was about. Like it shows planet Earth, like where they are and where they're maybe hoping to escape from and get away from. But the way it's presenting it, it's very interesting that this is the final shot. And I guess, like I said, it's kind of like those were the days. And yeah, Dr. Stone, KANA-BOON. So glad we got to check this one out. KANA-BOON killed it as always. Such a great song. I love the energy that KANA-BOON brought. Always brings a shit ton of energy and so much of it. And yeah, Dr. Stone always delivers. Always a pleasure to check out. And I hope that we get to see more of this in the future. I'm excited to check out the ending. I'm excited to check out what'll probably be season 5, the final season of this, if Pinecino's predictions are correct. And yeah, let's see what we get in the next one. We're going to move on to opening number 8. Let's go. All right, let's see what we get in opening number 8. Here we go. What's this? I have no idea what this is. Oh? Uron Mirage? Yin-yang type deal? Oh shit, that's cool. Visually, this is beautiful. More feet? Jeez, what is with this set? Jellyfish? Oh, not these flowers. You're dead, bozo. I'm sorry, but that's it. Once you stumbled into that area. Who's this guy? Someone he's reaching out for? Someone that means a great deal to him? This is a cool opening. Oh shit, that was crazy. Got his little pipe. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, the skull. 3D. Right there. That was really cool. That was really cool. I don't know really if I learned a whole lot from this. I'll try and spitball what I think I learned. So these two characters, it's almost like they're perfect mirrors of one another. That's obviously why it starts off with like the yin yang imagery right there. Uron, Mirage. I don't know what Uron means, but Mirage being, you know, a false image, you know, something that like a haven that is a trick of the mind, or you know, whatever. Seeing them walk alongside each other, I wonder if there's maybe something from their past that's bonded them together, or maybe it's kind of like a sci-fi supernatural fantasy kind of series. Obviously there's a big ass lion, so it wouldn't surprise me, and for some reason these two characters are kind of like two parts of the same soul, because that's what it's making me think of from what we see here visually. Visually as well, like shots like these are so badass and cool, but the shots like this with the bird and the reflections in the puddle and everything, shots like this, like there's just so much sauce that it's almost making me think like, it's not a great comparison, I understand that, but it's almost making me think of like the Heavenly Delusion opening, where there's so much great detail in like backgrounds and everything like that. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read the description. This is Uron Mirage, produced by Baiburi Animation Studios, directed by Hiroshi Ikihata. Baiburi Animation Studios, that sounds familiar. Scripted by Deku Akao Komi-san. Character designs by Haruko Izuka Horimiya. Music by Yukari Hashimoto. Zenshu, A Sign of Affection. Komi-san, and based on the hit shonen manga by Moko Utakata. The song is Bitter End by Huya Extended. JJK Opening 2. This isn't me talking down on this series, but you say it's a hit shonen manga. I had never heard of this before, but that's one of the most fun things about doing this kind of stuff, because I'm introduced to new series. I get to learn a lot more. I get to just see so much more than I already knew. The way it did like yin yang at the beginning, like the fish and everything, it reminded me almost of a Kagurabachi, and I know that's so dumb. It's just seeing fish makes me think of Kagurabachi, I guess. Bitter rivals Utsuro and Oboro must put aside their differences to fight a greater... Hey, what's this? They're rivals. Interesting. I would never have thought so from what I saw. Let me see. What is this? Witch Watch? That's really funny. They talked about it in Witch Watch. Going in one go. Witch Watch reaction happening. I don't get it. So what do they find? I don't get it. But that's really funny, seeing like little references in other series. This is Uron Mirage, a parody. Oh, really? Hold up. This is Uron Mirage, a parody of a Shonen Jump action series within Witch Watch. The 14th episode started with this opening, and then 10 minutes of Uron Mirage played before it pulled back into a regular Witch Watch episode. No way. That's insane. That is so funny. You honestly had me thinking this was a real anime, and I was like, this looks so cool. It's got a unique look to it. It's got a fun feel and everything. And I guess that's why Baiburi Studios sounded familiar, because they did Witch Watch. That's so funny. That was a really good bait and switch, Pinecino. I'll give you that. Everyone has to give you a little clap and a pat in the back for that one. You were thinking, oh, this slipped under your radar this season. This is the kind of thing that I love that you do, Pinecino. Like I talk about it a lot, but the Beyond the Time opening thing that you did, like the credits and everything, That's one of my favorite memories of checking something out in this series or on this channel, and this is going to be one that just ranks up there for me of like one of my favorite things. Just like, I was genuinely confused. I was like, oh, which watch is referencing this this series? I wonder what that's about. but yeah, they went so damn hard for a big anime opening for sure. For one episode, 14 minutes of an episode, that's insane. Like, Bibury Studios, they deserve a pat in the back. I genuinely was starting to theorize what this series was about. I thought that I was going to be able to figure something out. Like, you know, they went so hard on this. Is this in the manga too? Like, does the manga, like, do you go through like 5 chapters and then suddenly it's like, oh, this is Uron Mirage? Like, yeah, that's bonkers. This was so fun. Now knowing that this is a fake anime, I don't know if I really need to analyze it or anything. I think that it's the kind of one that's just like, wow, that was so cool. That was really great. But I guess I don't really need to talk about it, but I think it was so damn cool. I just don't know why we're seeing so much like feet in your face today. Like, we got it earlier, we're getting it right now. They're literally telling you a story within this opening. Like, you're getting a real sense of what these characters go through and experience and everything. And they're even giving characters like backstory bait, you know, like he's very clearly reaching out to someone else that was very important to him. It cuts back and forth between him dying and reaching out for this other guy. So they like, the whole thing was fleshed out. The whole thing was literally, it had meat and bones. It wasn't just a skeleton for a fake anime series. This was thought out, and this could be honestly an anime original series that Bibury could run with. And you know what's making this even funnier? That I literally said all the way back, I was like, I'm not trying to shit on this series, but I've never heard of this, so this being a hit series, that's surprising to me. Makes so much sense. I guess I also forgot that Witch Watch ran into this season as well. I forgot that it was like a longer series, but man, they went so hard on this. Like, a lot of it, the animation isn't super crazy, but the fact that they're still animating action, which I'm sure is some of the hardest stuff to animate. Don't ask me, I'm not an animator. But then, you know, they also had this crazy insane shot right here. Like, let me play it out. Look at that shit. Like, what is that? What was that? Why did they go that hard on that? I mean, I shouldn't be asking why. I should be thankful. I'm so glad they did, because holy shit, that thing looked bonkers and insane. Going frame by frame through that is mental. Zach, he's got a name. Zach is going beast mode. Hell yeah. And I think it's so cool. Like, I do think that this would be really funny if after Witch Watch ends or something like that, you know, I think it would be really funny if they did a standalone series, even if it's a short one, of literally this series, or even just a bunch of shorts. I think that would be really fun. Like I was saying, it's hard to sit here and think, wow, I want to analyze this when I just learned it's a fake anime. This is up there with one of my favorite moments for sure that we've had on this channel, because this was just so different. And I think I'm ready now, begrudgingly, to move on to number 9 already. I would love to sit here and talk about this fake anime series for longer, but we got to move on to the next thing. We got to move on to number 9. Let's go. Why'd this get a link? Click in and find out, because it's TBS. This is going to be Sakamoto Days. I'm feeling it. Or is it TMS? I have no idea. It's probably TMS, isn't it? Here we go. Number 9. Almost said episode 9, but opening 9. Let's go. It is Sakamoto Days. I knew it. I know those who need filters on videos. This is really fun visually. Showing him painting the X makes him look like such a dork. Nagamo dancing. This is fun. The glass is shattering because of his wife. I think visually it's safe to say this might be a lot better than the first one. We're getting to see everyone. Holy shit, it's showing literally every character that probably shows up. There they are. Okay, so it's showing a lot of school arc stuff as well. Was that X in the gang doing karaoke? Oh, there she is. No way it's going to show her this season. Really? One of the coolest characters for sure. This is so fun. Isn't that one like one of the color pages for the manga? I'm pretty sure it is. That's so cool. It might even be like a recent color page. That's a really cool shot to end it on. Lou looks nothing like Lou here. She looks very different. Every other character looks like themselves, but Lou looks very different here. I can't explain it. This is Sakamoto Days Part 2, produced by TMS. The song is Method by Kroi of Buchigiri and Sandland fame. Hell yeah, I love a good Kroi opening. That Buchigiri opening is badass. I'm so glad we get to see them with a less hype kind of song. Like this one, it almost feels like an immediate spiritual successor to the first opening, because the first opening was very slow, downbeaten, almost like droney. And I wouldn't say this was droney at all, but it doesn't necessarily ramp up the intensity to like supernova heights or anything. It kind of keeps it at a steady level and keeps things, you know, exciting. The opening animation itself was directed by Tetsuro Araki, primarily these days a director of openings like Blue Box Opening 1, Vinland Saga Season 2, Opening 2, etc. Used to direct some indie darlings like Death Note and Attack on Titan. Visually, like I said while watching this, this is leagues above the first opening. And I think the song as well I much prefer over the first opening. I love Vaundy as much as the next guy, but it did sound like Vaundy was almost phoning it in with that first opening for Sakamoto Days. I still enjoyed it. I listened to it every single week. I was playing it before the stream began and everything. So I do still enjoy the song, but compare it with other Vaundy openings, it's probably ranking right near the bottom for me with Vaundy's catalog within anime. But Kroi brought the heat. Kroi brought so much fun energy. And of course, Tetsuro Araki killed it here. This looked incredible. I loved this story that they were telling, because it's really just giving you the sense of balancing two lives. And that's exactly what Sakamoto Days is, kind of, essentially, basically. It's the balance of assassin life and normal life, and trying to just kind of live a normal life, but you know, you're being pulled back into this world of assassins and everything. So I love that Araki directed this in such a way. It's showing the shop and everything. It's showing Sakamoto with his wife and his daughter. You also then get to see scenes of like them together when they were getting to know each other, scenes with his daughter. Really beautiful that we get to see both sides of his life. You get to see that side that he used to be a part of, and now the side that he has now. And anytime it's showing him with his wife and his daughter, it's beautiful. There's beautiful lighting in the background. It's showing a world of color for him. Whereas anytime there's assassin stuff going on, it's very comical looking almost, I would say. Not that the assassin stuff within the series is comical, but you know, it's showing that it's very different. Where here, light, color, beauty, and when he's with Nagumo and it's showing all those guys, it's very different. It looks like an almost different series, an almost different world that this is a part of. And I like I've been saying, Araki did a great job of showing like separating those two worlds and allowing us to get a sense of that through the opening alone. You'll say for you, you really like this opening and the energy it brings. You feel like has transferred a bit into the series because you've been enjoying this part a fair bit more than the first. That's completely valid. I like I said, I much prefer this opening as well. I feel like the first opening, I really enjoyed it the first time I heard it when I was checking it out for the video, but the more it went on, the more I was just like, Damn, I wish we got a little something more. And wasn't there a point where they played a different opening? Or was that ending? I think it was only one opening, but they played like a second ending or something for a single episode. Yeah, that was the ending. I was going to say, like, that opening alone was like, it should have replaced it, but that wasn't an opening, it was an ending, like you said. It's so interesting that they did an ending just for one episode though. And even then, like you said, that you feel like the energy from this opening might be playing a little bit of a part into your enjoyment of the second season. I could see that, but also the content that season 2 covers is when Sakamoto Days really hits its stride, because early in Sakamoto Days, it does feel very slice of life, monster of the week almost-esque. Whereas now you're getting into the actual Sakamoto Days, where it's no longer about monster of the week. We're getting just deep into the assassin world. We're digging our teeth into assassins and the assassin world, and that's only going to continue going forward. We're really not going to go back to that kind of style of early Sakamoto Days, and especially characters like Lou. She's going to disappear. She's going to go into the background. I don't know why. I love her. I wish we got to see more of her, but I guess she wasn't really, if I'm trying to get into the mindset of the creator of the series, she maybe didn't fit the formula of where he wanted to take the series. It's also a good idea to keep, someone who can fight with your wife and daughter, to keep them safe. So I do love this opening. I think that it is a great addition, and it should have been like this for opening 1. But I did still enjoy opening 1 a lot. Getting to see Sakamoto fighting, is that Nagamo, or is it, it's probably, no, it's not Nagamo, it's probably like a chef assassin, I would guess. I can't even remember. Yeah, seeing everyone here, Pisuke, Heisuke, the boys, as Pinecino once said a while ago, what was it, Heisuke and his handler Pisuke or something? I can't remember how you put it, but it was very funny. The way it shows as well shots that we're used to from the series. It's fun, it's playful, it's something that you'll recognize and you'll laugh at. And then seeing cold ass, hard as hell shots like these with the Order. But this is canonically impossible, is it not? I'm pretty sure she was not in the Order while Sakamoto was in the Order. So I don't think this is possible, though maybe I'm wrong. It's interesting that they chose to have this shot. They could have literally just had the boys, I'm not saying that I want her gone and out of here. That's not the thing. She's one of the most interesting members of the Order. She's one of the most fun to watch and follow along with. Obviously, a lot of people's favorites are going to be this guy right here, Nagamo, but I'm a Shishiba guy. He's my favorite by far. He is maybe my favorite character in the series. I just really love his sense of how he views things and his morality and his views and his values. I just think he's a really interesting character, and I think that anytime he fights, just a fun fight to watch play out. I do not want a woman off my screen. That is not true whatsoever. But then we see a shot of, I can't remember his name. Is it like Hai or Ho? Almost looks like he gets shot. What's up with that, huh? I think that this is just like a visual thing to show like the danger of the work they're in. They can look hard as hell, but one shot is all it would take. And yeah, this shot right here is so funny to me because it just makes Slur X, I won't use his government name, of course, that would be huge spoilers, painting onto the wall. Like, it makes him look kind of goofy, if I'm being honest. What's this character's name? Kashima or something? Watching on, of course. Damn, look, they actually gave him a bit of sauce in this opening. This guy right here, you don't want to get in his bad side. You don't want to mess with him. He might look like a sleepy old man, but holy shit, I've heard he can cut through buildings. Don't get in his bad side. He will wreck your shit. He will ruin your day. I just noticed as well that there's guys dead in the background there. That's so funny. And then Nagamo goes for a little dance. It's so visually fun and cool. It definitely fits the Sakamoto Days vibe perfectly, I would say. Like having this kind of stylistic art choice where it's just kind of coming and going, and it comes across very silly, and it makes it look very comic booky and fun. I think that it's so fittingly perfect for this series, and I couldn't imagine it any other way. Also, the shot of Heisuke pulling up the sniper to his face, that shit's just, it's That looks hard. Cutting back to shots of Sakamoto and Shin trying to fend off assassins, but you can see that they're being perfectly safe for onlookers and bystanders because there's kids right by them, there's other people walking up and down, and nobody's batting an eye. So it's just like really funny anytime any of this shit happens in series where nobody else notices, you know. It's just like shit that's happening almost in like a separate dimension or something. Also, I wonder if this was used of 3D, the way it kind of like pans here. Like, you see what I mean? I think it's really well done. Of course, the person he fears most is his wife, and we get to see that yet again. Oh shit, it's literally showing everyone. Damn, I'd love to know who's voice acting half these characters. Of course, the flight from hell. I'm not gonna go through scenes, I guess, and like talk about what they represent, who, like what they're showing from the series, kind of like DanDaDan. I'm not here to spoil the anime series for anyone. I'm not here to spoil it for anyone who maybe hasn't seen or started season 2 yet. I just want to point out like that these are really cool little references and shots that they're showing. Shots like these, it's almost reminiscent of the manga covers themselves, I would say. Like, there tends to be like this kind of look with like a shadow like color or something for like some of the covers. That's really cool. So I love that we get to see that a little here. Of course, these are bad people, and they're going to do bad things, and then these are just dorks. Damn, yeah, we get to see everyone. Look at that. Don't pay attention to that. What could that be? Probably little spoilers, because I don't know if the anime's reached that point yet. There's details in here that you can pick up a lot on. We're seeing a lot of stuff here. Oh, look at the little puppies. Reset. We're returning by death. I think it's really funny though, seeing them all doing karaoke and stuff, because it's just not something you would think of. It's very Sakamoto Days silly-esque, but at the same time I could not imagine these characters sitting down and doing this. That just seems so unnatural and so impossible to me to imagine, but so cool. Also, isn't this literally a manga volume cover as well? I'm pretty sure it is. So that's really cool. I was saying earlier, I love when they incorporate volume covers into this. Look at that coloration. Holy shit, it's so good. And there's Best Girl right there. But I don't recall her even being in the series this early. I guess I have a really bad recollection for series once I'm actually ahead of things a bit. Of course, Nagamo with the Pocky in the background, because he ain't like that. Yeah, it's just a ton of fun. I love this opening a lot. I think that this is definitely Sakamoto Days at its peak. Something else I think is really cool to mention as well is that Sakamoto Days manga is a series that the creator, the artist, especially when he's doing color pages and everything, he goes above and beyond with like wrinkles and clothing and stuff. And so I think that especially within this opening, getting to see that visual look within the opening and attached to the anime series, I love it. I think that it's definitely giving me more of a sense of real Sakamoto Days. Not that the first opening wasn't the real Sakamoto Days, but this one feels like a more complete idea of what the first one was going for, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if I'm really going to talk much longer. Kroi killed it, and Tetsuro Araki absolutely demolished it with the visuals. And yeah, this was an absolute ton of fun, an absolute blast to check out. I'm so glad we were able to do so, and I cannot wait to see what we get in this next one. It's going to be very exciting, so let's go. Let's see what we get. Here we go. Oh, that he whacks the guy with a credit. I didn't even notice that. That's so funny. He puts it in his pocket. That is so good. That is really unique. John Wick could never, absolutely not. I guess that's Araki's genius, right? That nobody else would do that. But yeah, we're going to move on to the next one. We're going to check out opening number 10. Here we go. All right, here we go. Opening number 10. We're into double digits now. Let's go. What is that? The summer Hikaru died. That looked crazy. This feels very eerie with those creepy keys in the background. One more time. Wow. Holy shit. This looks bonkers. I don't know what this is trying to tell me. Are there like monsters or something? Or aliens? Ghouls? Reaching for him? Oh, he's been infected. Damn. Oh, crying. This is a banger. This is so good. He just looks like such a sweet guy. The summer Hikaru died. But then we get that creepiness to round it out again. Damn. That was really, really good, actually. This might have overtaken City for my personal favorite. Just can't explain why. It just like I just love this a lot. This, but you know, that's not saying like the City opening is suddenly bad or anything. I just honestly loved everything about this. The song, definitely easily my favorite song of the day so far. The visuals were so unique and interesting and so creepy and eerie, and it definitely made me feel unsettled, made me feel like not everything was as it seemed, and definitely brought a whole ton of questions to me. That makes no sense. It brought a whole ton of questions. It brought me a lot of questions, which I think is good because this is another series I'm really interested in. I've got the first volume of the manga and I have been wanting to read it for quite a while. I just have never got around to it. So yeah, this is a series that has been high on my radar for a long time, but it's also one I know nothing about. So that's what makes this all the more interesting. I know nothing about That Summer Hikaru Died. I just know that it's one that I've heard is very good, and that I was like, you know what? I'll read this. I want to read this. I want to check it out. Just based on nothing. This is The Summer Hikaru Died, produced by Cygames, back again. We love to see Cygames pictures. Bravern, Apocalypse Hotel, of course, the hit anime series, and of course the hit gacha game, Uma Musume, killing it these days. I'm sure they're making a shit ton of money from that gacha game. Directed and scripted by Riho Takeshita, mostly experienced in comedies and dramas. Character designs by Yuichi Takahashi, Blue Giant, the new Mononoke films. Interesting, that's really cool. I remember you really enjoyed that Blue Giant film, and I know nothing about it. I've seen it kind of advertised here and there when I would have went to see Studio Ghibli movies in the theaters. They would kind of advertise the Blu-ray for Blue Giant, but it never showed any clips or anything, so all I know is it's a jazz series. The new Mononoke films as well, I've heard only amazing things, so the fact that that's his two accolades right there, and then seeing the actual character designs here as well, huge credit. I think that he's done another great job here. Music by Taro Umebayashi, Yuri on Ice, and DDDD, and based on the manga by Moku mo Kuren. The song is Reunion by Vaundy. That was Vaundy? There's no way. How did I miss that? That is Vaundy. How did I miss that? I was just talking about the guy like 5 seconds ago with the previous opening. That's crazy. I did not recognize him whatsoever. Kind of like what I was saying though with the previous Sakamoto Days opening when I was talking about the first Sakamoto Days opening. I was just saying that I love so many great Sakamoto Days. I love so many great Vaundy openings. And sadly the Sakamoto Days one was ranking right maybe near or at the bottom for me, and this one I was just saying is my favorite song of the day. So not even knowing it was Vaundy, just I think it's ironic. I think it's actually kind of humorous. Vaundy, of course, Ranking of Kings opening 2, one of my personal favorite openings probably of all time. Spy Family ending 2 and Sakamoto Days opening 1. He is honestly one of the kings of anime openings and endings, and I'm so glad we got to hear him once more providing this, because holy shit, he brought so much heat to this. He brought the exact kind of intensity that the visuals needed here. Like, to compare it to another opening that we checked out today that I thought visuals maybe didn't match so much, Call of the Night. The Call of the Night opening seemed to me like it needed something a little more intense based on what I was seeing, I guess. And this one is intense. This one is kind of scary, honestly. And the song really matches that so perfectly. Everything from his voice being, you know, Vaundy's voice, like he's got a great voice, obviously, but he really just ramps up his intensity when he needs to, when crazy shit's going down. But also the keys in the background, the creepy keys that play when it's showing really weird shit in the background. It's almost like, honestly, the perfect song with these visuals. Like, it's the perfect pairing. And there have been a lot of those today as well, honestly, but this is it for me. This is the opening of the day personally. There might be more to come. Obviously there are like another 2 or 3 more, I think, after this. I'm so glad we got to check this one out, because holy shit. A light synopsis or no? How long is this series going to be? Because if I'm looking for something to do after Fragrant, would this be a good candidate? Like I said, this is a series that I literally bought a manga volume for because I wanted to check it out. 12 episodes. Won't cover all the manga though, since it hasn't ended. Really? The manga's still ongoing? Or is it on hiatus? That's crazy. I thought it was a fully finished series. This was phenomenal, honestly. This is like peak Vaundy. And I didn't even know it was Vaundy 5 minutes ago. The visuals are so creepy. Still ongoing. It's an anime only. It's incredible so far. A rare great horror anime. I was gonna say, like, it definitely looks like it leans into the kind of horror direction based on the things that we see. Like, this looks very creepy. Like, just seeing figures in the dark, that's creepy as hell. I guess like other popular huge great horror series, you know, you've got stuff like Another, you've got stuff like Shiki, Hellsing maybe, Devilman Crybaby. Like, it's a very small genre even still, that, at least from my understanding, horror. It's almost like it's a really tricky one to pull off well. So I'm not sure there are a lot of these stories. Uzumaki. I will check out the final episode for Uzumaki one day. Maybe when I finish Fragrant. Maybe we'll check out Uzumaki episode 4. I think it would be fun to check that out and stream though, in all honesty. I think that's what I'm going to do. It almost makes me think that there are some creatures of some sort. This eyeball in a hand, I don't know if it's just a visual thing or if it's kind of like trying to tell us something. Like, I really don't know, but everything is not as it seems, because we get to see the exact same thing on like a tongue as well. Like, yeah, there. It's definitely telling me that there are some alien forces here. Whether it's like monsters or ghouls, whatever it is, I obviously don't have a clue. But it seems like there's some supernatural being or fantasy element that interferes with this normal life. As well as this, I don't know if it is the case, but the kind of vibe I was getting is that this might be kind of Yuri series. No, Yuri's girls. Yaoi. This might be kind of like a Yaoi series, because the two guys, they did look very close to one another. Like, I don't know. I could be completely off base here. I'm just literally going based off of what I see with their friendship. Maybe it is literally just a friendship, but I don't know. It just kind of like, it's giving me the vibes that there's maybe something more going on there. Kind of like with Lavine and Kane and Fragrant. Like, I'm just about waiting for them to be confirmed as a couple. It looks like it's really been going in that direction. Maybe these two are just really great friends, but that's just kind of like what I wanted to say real quick before I actually start to try and analyze this. Everything is creepy, everything is wrong, everything is off, nothing looks right, nothing looks as it should. And that's important because right after that, we get an insight into our main character, Hikaru, who died during a summer apparently. Oh, it's this summer Hikaru died. Why have I always thought it was that summer Hikaru died? That's crazy. I hope I'm not the only one. I hope this is a Mandela effect type thing. It shows like an eyeball outline and then it zooms in on him, our main character. So indicating maybe that these alien forces, whatever they are. I'm going to say alien forces, but I mean it as an umbrella term to kind of talk about whatever it is that is present in this series. Because if this is a series that doesn't even have anything like this, it doesn't have any like kind of alien forces, that would be very surprising to me. And that then everything we see here is kind of just a metaphor for how alien people can be and how different people are and how horrible people can be, and seeing the awful side in people, like literally it could indicate that. But I'm gonna kind of analyze this in the sense that everything we're seeing is literal. And yeah, seeing him followed then by this woman and these hands reaching out, and this is when the creepy notes play, right? Yeah, it's clearly trying to make you feel off-put. It's very off-putting. And we get to see all these characters kind of just look towards us, kind of, you know, almost like they're not a part of this, but they're looking at us almost like I don't know, like they just look like normal people who are thrust into this world, thrust into whatever is happening here. And they're looking at us very sad looking. Like he looks like he hasn't slept in days. He's got bags under his eyes. He looks very, very sad. And the girl as well, she doesn't look necessarily happy. She's looking towards the camera, towards us, with a sadness in her eyes. And I would suspect that these are friends of Hikaru. And this, I guess, is showing him with whatever is wrong with him. Like he's been infected by something. He's been taken over by something. And it might be parasitic or something, because it shows his tongue as well, and there's holes in it. Everything just looks wrong. Everything looks bad, and everything looks really rough. Pinecino, did you read this series, by the way? Because I know there's another series I'm thinking of that like this visual kind of look is reminding me of. But yeah, he is not himself, and that's what makes this all the more sad, because he's crying, and like this poor guy, he's probably lost his friend. Or if Hikaru is still, you know, out there, he probably is longing for his friend. He's like longing for the person he used to be. You have it in manga form, but just been watching the anime, fair enough. Might be fun to watch and then read it right after. But this shot right here is very fun and playful. It's reminding me of Heavenly Delusion with like the kind of panoramic look where, you know, it kind of comes into a curve. But yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Is he kind of trying to investigate, trying to figure out what happened, trying to get to the bottom of all of this? But yeah, we get to see Hikaru just being his normal self, it would seem. And they look like a bunch of goofballs. They look like great friends. You know, nothing could ever get between them. But then, of course, we get to see the terror that is all of this awful shit. Like this girl, we saw her earlier, and yet again, she's in the exact same lighting, right as something is reaching out, with a big eyeball as well in the doorway. So I'm not sure really what to make of this. I wonder if she's someone who also gets infected. Maybe she infects Hikaru, like it just gets passed on and on and on. I'm not entirely sure, but the hand, I can't tell if it's 2D or 3D, but it looks great. I love the lighting that they used on it. Then getting to see just normal people, but all of this intersecting creepy stuff. I don't know, man. This looks really, really creepy. And shots like this here as well, like this art style, it's beautiful, and it's reminding me a lot of like Shularun, or even something like the Fragrant endings, or well, yeah, both endings, I guess, but I'm more specifically thinking of the second ending. It's kind of like giving it a folklore-ish look, kind of yet again making things seem unnatural, like abnormal and very fantastical, I guess you could say. Don't know what the hair's about there. So many questions that I have. I suspect that he is infected. I suspect that this whole his death thing might not be literal, but more so metaphoric of he's lost his mind, he's been taken over, but maybe the real him is still there. I don't know what to interpret from this foam falling and then a knife. It's unsettling and it makes me feel uneasy, but yeah. What a great opening this is. This is genuinely like top tier opening right here, and I'm so glad we checked it out. I hope that we get more from Vaundy in the future. I fear I might be ready to check out the next one already. Absolute 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 opening. I love the song, I love the visuals, I loved everything about it, but because I have asked Pinecino not to give me a synopsis for this, it's hard to kind of go off the synopsis as well to kind of theorize based on what I'm seeing and using the synopsis. So I've done my best to kind of figure out what I could figure out from the visuals by myself. And yeah, we're going to check out the next one. We're going to jump into opening number 11. So here we go. Is that junk? Holy shit. What? Yeah, I was going to say, this has to be Gachiakuta. This is like insane. Holy shit. I was not expecting Screamo for Gachiakuta. Holy shit. This looks like a nightmare scenario. Holy shit. Riho, what was that? What the? Jesus, this is nightmare fuel. This is crazy. I love it. This is not what I expected from Gachiakuta, but I am so glad we did. Engine, of course, we saw. I love the character designs. They look so true to the... Yeah, they look so true to the series. That was great. Holy shit, that was insane. I don't know what I was expecting from a Gachiakuta opening, but it was not that. I did not expect Screamo. I did not expect a rumbling style opening at all. I'm so surprised. I was kind of expecting like a... I actually don't know what I would have expected. This is Gachiakuta, produced by Bones. There's no way Bones is directing Gachiakuta, animating Gachiakuta. That's honestly the first time I've ever heard that. I had no idea they were animating this series. All the better for it. You know, Studio Bones, they've got the backlog, they've got the history, and of course there's the Soul Eater connection right there. Directed by Fumihiko Suganuma, debut as a series director, scripted by all-reliable Hiroshi Seko, literally called in to script every modern shonen from JJK to Chainsaw Man to DanDaDan, and now this. That's insane. Bro cannot catch a break. He's working overtime. Music by Taku Iwasaki, Soul Eater, and JoJo Part 2. Maybe this is also not news to me. Like, I know I did the joke about learning about Bones for the first time, but also, isn't Bones now going by a different name, like Bones Films or something? I had no idea the person who did the music behind Soul Eater was doing Gachiakuta, but that's me saying that, and then you're gonna go and find a post on Discord where I learned that for the first time again and make me look like a damn fool. Also, the new Mononoke films. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I remember you saying that, actually. I remember you saying that the Mononoke films had this kind of sound similar to JoJo Part 2's music, and that was so unique and different compared to everything else in JoJo. And yeah, that's really cool. Based on the manga by Kei Urana, or Kei Urana, I'm not sure, but she is a goddess, she is a queen, and she is doing amazing things with this series. The song is Hugs by Paledusk. K, I would imagine it's probably pronounced Kei Urana. Plot synopsis, you're probably beyond me at this point, honestly. Kei Urana is really just killing it. I love her art style. I love her, like, everything she does, but also a huge credit has to go to the graffiti guy on Gachiakuta, because like, you finish a volume of Gachiakuta and the back there's like a page of graffiti, and there's a lot of graffiti and all that kind of look throughout the entire series, like within the chapters themselves, but he's literally credited as well next to her. So I just think that the two of them work so well with one another. They have created such a great looking series, such a unique looking series, especially within the manga, and I have no idea how that translates into the anime, like the graffiti kind of look to it and the rough kind of feel, rough look and everything. But I'd be very interested to actually see and to learn from what I saw here in this opening. This is intense and crazy. I don't know if I would really say Gachiakuta's like a super heavy, intense series. at least from where I got up to. I got up to like volume 4 or 5 or something like that, so I'm not even that far ahead, that like deep into the series. By the time I caught up, that was like, it was the most recent volume that had released. So yeah, I have no idea how it kind of translates all of that, but what I saw of the character designs and everything like that looked amazing. But yeah, I really don't know if I would say it's a series that I would have picked out for a Screamo opening. It's not that heavy and intense, really. Gachiakuta, sick ass opening. Surprised by the Screamo, but you know what? I will take it and I will love it. This was such a unique, fun opening. And yeah, I can't quite put into words how surprised I was that this is accompanying this series specifically. Like, I could have maybe pictured this in the one before, like this, the summer Hikaru died. I could have maybe pictured a Screamo song in there because it was intense. The visuals in this, so perfectly fitting for what we heard here, but it's just so surprising to me. I did not think this was a series that was going to get this treatment, but I love it. I'm so glad that it did. I'm so glad that it got something unique and different and fun. It's very out there, and there's some real crazy horror imagery within this, and I guess that's kind of to indicate just how horrible this world that Rudo has been thrust into is. Also, this I think is like a double page spread or something, like a color page, like this kind of look. I feel like I've seen this before. If this is how it's gonna look, I think it's done a great job. In your opinion, looking at volume covers, you think it fits like a glove and how edgy it's been? I mean, maybe. It definitely can be edgy, but I just feel like for me it's much more of a goofy series, at least where I got up to, and I would love to continue incorporating the lyrics into the visuals. Always badass, always fun, showing David bursting and everything, showing hands breaking, showing humanity basically crumbling and being destroyed, followed then by this terrifying insane shot of Rudo. I don't know why they would even think to do this. This is so scary, and it's not like anything else in the series itself. I guess I have a question. I love the way they're showing the scrapyard though, because it's definitely not a good place. It's not a place you want to be, and it is full of all this scariness, and it's full of junk, literally. A question that I would have though, I'm curious to know how that shot looked as Rudo was falling down the pit and he sees something in the distance. Like, how did that look in the anime? Because I remember that shot in the manga blowing my mind. Oh, I see what you did there as well. You said fits like a glove. Ha 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 ha. Good one. Don't know what the hell's happening with Rudo there, but it's scary. I don't like it. And holy shit, Mish mention? We get a Mish mention in the Sakamoto in the Gachiakuta opening? That is crazy. It's edgy, it's creepy, it's scary, and I love when it kind of just pops off, showing the rage of Rudo and everything. I feel like they did a great job of kind of incorporating the insanity of him, and he is a crazy little guy. Like, I love him, but he can be a little crazy sometimes, and he is very intense, and I'd love to see how they animate certain scenes. Like, another one that I'm just curious about is when he smiles in like chapter 1. I would love to know how they animated that, because that shit did not look right. And yeah, getting to see all our favorite characters and stuff, I just love how these character designs look. I think it's a great, perfect adaptation design wise, and in terms of the opening visuals and the opening song itself, I loved it so much. I am so happy this series was done justice by. I'm so glad, and I hope that others have been enjoying it, and I hope that others are enjoying Gachiakuta the anime, because this, for me, the manga itself is so much fun. It was such an easy breezy read that just sucked you in and got you so invested, and I just felt so excited following the series. And it was just a shame when I got caught up with physical and there was no more physical releases to read, so I'm still super far behind in that sense. You love it so far. I'm so glad to hear that story. It's probably the one series that I was most excited for a long time, and I haven't even watched it. So yeah, I'm gonna move on now to the final opening. We're gonna check out opening number 12, see what we get. Very excited. No idea what's to come, because every series I can think of has already been shown. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to get here. I wonder if we're going to leave things off on a high intensity note like a lot of these openings have been, or if we're going to slow things down and kick things off in a slower mood. I'm excited to see. I'm interested to find out. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. And comment down below letting me know your favorite opening from summer 2025. And yeah, this is a long ass video. This stream has been very long, 4.5 hours right now of streaming and almost talking non-stop, so my throat is getting a little sore. I'm sure you can probably hear it, but we're going to keep this train rolling. We're not going to stop, and we're going to check this last one out. Here we go. Yeah, let's see what we get here. What'll it be? TV screen. It's One Piece. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, we are getting to see a certain saint. Wow, it's showing a lot here. Fishman Island mention. Damn, Egghead's such a good arc. The giant robot reaching out. History Ocean. Duh. Damn. This is crazy for spoilers. Damn, it's so good. Vivi Mansion. Why did someone stab Shirahoshi in the eye? Shanks? Figureland? Oh wow, I gotta go back and see the order showed all those guys, because the giant robot, the battle warrior. Damn, that was pretty sick. What order does it show everyone? It shows Shanks passing on the Straw Hat, of course. We know this scene very well, as Luffy takes the front and center, and then it shows Saint Figureland Garling, and then Kobe, and then like, I wonder if it's trying to tell us something. Probably not. And there's the death of Roger right there. Yeah, this animation is absolutely insane. Love Emperor Buggy being right up there with his peers. Holy shit, whose rage is that? Yeah, I know who that is. That's Luffy. Is it? That's what I thought because of the lightning. But it looked like there was a huge crowd. Wasn't that literally just like nobody else there when that happened? Yeah, that's why I was like confused, because I was like, oh, that's Luffy. But there was nobody in the crowd there. You're way past Saturn showing up. Okay, never mind. We can talk about that then. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea what is happening in the anime right now. And there's a lot of stuff being shown here. Like, for example, this right here. Has this even started yet? Because it's going to go on for 30 to 40 episodes. Buggy and Alvida had their crew there. This hasn't started yet. Okay, well, I'm not going to say much about this, but I think it's really cool the way they show this by showing everyone and everything that has come before. Everyone from different places, different locations, and just about anyone who's been important. And yeah, if you know, you know. And this is going to be a very long stretch, so get ready for that. But it is absolutely worth it. It's so fun, and I love that they kind of tease that right here. Seeing the Straw Hats once again, love it. I would say it's been a while, but I feel like we just checked out a One Piece opening not even that long ago. Okay, I guess I forgot the Buggy and Alvida had their crew there. I honestly thought that it was just like an empty crowd, made more ironic by the fact that for Rogers there was a shit ton of people, but for Luffy's there was nobody. So I thought that was kind of like what they were going for there, showing everyone looking on and everything. Like, I think it's really cool. Yep, there it is. We got to see that all the way back in Wano as well. It's crazy. It's crazy getting to see Luffy like that, because that is not my Luffy. Zoro versus this Lucci guy. Just so cool getting to see just about everything here. So many moments within this that shows so many things that are very heavy in the spoiler side of things, but like, even look at that, Luffy into Kuma. It's a great opening, it really is. It shows so much. It's beautifully animated. It really just gets you invested. It shows so much without you maybe necessarily knowing or understanding it. Even this right here, isn't this like, I will stop myself in my place. I was literally about to spoil something. Getting to see all the egghead guys, it's been a while. I honestly like forgot about a bunch of these characters. Akainu's got his eye on Yukizaru. Be careful out there. Just about everything in this is telling you that everything is connected, and then we get to see the history books and everything, and Ocean mention. So they're showing, you know, everything that happened with Ohara, right? It was Ohara. And the books and everything being thrown into the water. Clearly what this is showing, but then it shows life under the sea and everything. Like, give me a second. I'm going to go through this part frame by frame, because holy shit, that shit's bonkers. That is honestly insane. And yep, look what it shows. It shows the little thing as well. Like, so many things here. And Luffy coming through the eyeball of this rage. It's perfect. Even when things look intense and things look like there's no way out, Luffy's going to find a way. And he's going to brighten everyone's days. Look, he's brought the light with him, bringing the sun, you could say. And he is just, he's him. Luffy is that guy. He will not leave his friends behind. He will not let anyone down. I'm just surprised by what they're actually showing here. Like, this is this is literally end of arc material. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best not to spoil anything, because I recognize a lot of stuff that's being shown here has not been touched upon yet in the anime. So I'm not going to spoil for anyone, but also we get to see Vivi. When was the last time we saw Vivi? It's been a while. Her world is crumbling. Someone is reaching out to her, and she is potentially in trouble. We get to see Big Bad Emu. Is that Brook? I think I might be Brook with the hair. We get to see Luffy. We get to see Blackbeard. And we get to see Shirahoshi. And man, something in this shot makes so much sense now after recent chapters. I will not say much more than that, but damn, it's good to be in the know. That's all I'm going to say. It's good to know where Oda's mind is. But why has Emu stabbed Shirahoshi in the eye, and then you see a reflection of D? I feel like there's some kind of message being told here that Oda hasn't even written himself. And I'm guessing he's told these guys, because this feels like there's too much here not to be important. Like, this looks very relevant. Oh, there they are. There's the guys. It's just really interesting that Blackbeard and Buggy are placed in such ways that they almost seem like background second thoughts, whereas Shanks is main front and center, huge, but he's passing on the torch, Straw Hat per se, to Luffy. This shit right here, this is literally next arc. I'm just surprised by what they're showing here, is what I'm trying to say. Holy shit, is that an ex-Drake mention in 2025? Is that Helmeppo in the background? Getting to see the Revolutionary Army as well. But it's interesting that when it shows the Revolutionary Army, they're shown with Sabo, whereas when it shows Dragon, he's by himself. And I will say it kind of fits his character, kind of being the lone wolf type, but at the same time, he's the leader of the Revolutionary Army. You would think that it would show the army with him and not with Sabo. He is shown like right before it shows Luffy's execution and then Roger's execution. So I feel like this is really trying to tell us something, perhaps something that is maybe spoilers for the future. I wonder then if Dragon's relationship to the past is maybe more in your face than maybe we would know, because it shows Luffy and then Roger right after, like he's standing in front of the gallows right before that. And obviously they've been trying to make a point in chapters even back to like Wano, I believe, or post Wano, where they were kind of trying to make a point that Sabo was seen as like a leader alongside Dragon of the revolutionaries, like almost like more popular, the one that people were talking about. So it makes me wonder then if Dragon plans to pass that torch to Sabo. So many questions, so many theories, but no answers at all. We get to see Odin, Roger, and Whitebeard sitting around having a laugh. We get to then see Sabo, Luffy, and Ace sitting around having a laugh. And then of course, that iconic scene from chapter 1000 with Ace and Yamato, followed then by all these shots of past memories that just mean the world to everyone. You even get to see Blackbeard animated in this style, like Blackbeard sitting and announcing that his goals with the One Piece and everything. Like, he very much looks like a completely different character in this style, and I love it. I would love to actually see some of those older scenes done in this style. I think it would be really cool, because new One Piece looks very different from old One Piece, and I adore both styles, but this style right now it's so good. Luffy is the guy. I don't know what else to say. He puts a straw hat on and you know everything's going to be okay. Also, thanks Pinecino for giving me another opportunity to put Luffy in the thumbnail. Always appreciated. maybe I'll put some other character in there though. Luffy in the thumbnail, always fun. I like putting him in there. Don't really know if I have much more to say about this. The song was really fun. It almost sounds like a punky kind of song at times or something. I can't quite explain it, but it did have a really fun feel to it, and it really drove this whole opening along really well, and I loved it. I thought it was great, and I'm so glad we checked this one out. I'm surprised that One Piece jumped into another opening so soon. I guess that previous opening was literally just slated for the Kuma flashback, because I assume now we're much further past the Kuma flashback into new territory, new material, and that's why we've once again switched up the opening. But like I said, I'm surprised that we switched it up so soon. One Piece openings, they tend to last like 40 to 50 episodes before they're changed, so this feels like a very quick switch up. And yeah, both openings for this arc, well, there's more than 2 openings for this arc, but every opening for this arc has been honestly amazing. I am so blown away by the work that they've been doing lately, and I'm so glad that they have once again done it. And yeah, I think that this might wrap up today's video. I had an absolute blast. I had so much fun. I hope that you guys did too. I'm so glad we were able to do this together, and if you guys did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Comment down below letting me know your favorite from the season. Check out the Twitch. It is twitch.tv/Jasmer. Link in the description below. We go live here, and the next stream that we will be doing will be the summer 2025 endings. Not sure what's going to be in there. I'm not sure if it's going to be all series that we checked out today, if there's going to be some other ones in there. That is always something that Pinecino keeps to himself, and I appreciate, because it lets me go in blind, and I think I have a lot more fun for it. So yeah, we're going to be checking that out next. I will be posting an update on the YouTube community tab when I will be going live, so keep an eye out if you want to be there and see it before anyone on YouTube. So yeah, thank you for watching. Ring the bell if you want to be notified when these videos go live. And yeah, we're just going to wrap this one up. That's going to do it for me for today. I hope that you're having a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next one. Take care.